Bulls need to get mellow.
Yeah, you want the balls together and draft
the balls
solo
in
ball?
Chicago would be electric.
Yeah, the Chicago Balls.
Chicago Balls.
Glenny's their coach. On today's Pardon My Take, it is Super Bowl week, and we have an awesome interview coming for the people. Andrew Luck, we've been looking to get this interview done for about 7 years. He came into HQ actually Sunday morning, and before we left for New Orleans. Really, really great interview. Awesome to talk to him.
He autographed our AFC finalist banner.
He did. So very cool guy. I think everyone's going to really enjoy it. Hot. Some people are saying hot. We also called the emergency Brian Windhorst bat phone and got him on for 15 minutes to talk about the Luka trade to the Lakers, which shocked everyone. We're here in New Orleans. We're going to talk a little Super Bowl. We have a Monday reading for the people.
Ooh, time capsule. It's the Monday time capsule.
Monday time
We
capsule.
do this every Monday before the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and it's all brought to you by our friends at DraftKings. This ain't the little itty bitty teeny tiny bowl. This is Super Bowl 59. Get in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 59. Scoring touchdowns is key to hoisting the Vince Lombardi Trophy, and you have a shot to score big by betting on them at DraftKings Sportsbook, the number one place to bet touchdowns. Ready to place your first bet? Try betting on something simple like a player to score 6. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app, make your pick. New DraftKings customers can bet $5, get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, use code TAKE, that's code TAKE, for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5 only on DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Okay, let's go. Welcome to Pardon My Take, presented by DraftKings. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use code TAKE. That's code TAKE. For new customers, get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5 only on DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Today is Monday, February 3rd, and welcome to Max Week.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
Not Max.
Max.
No,
Max,
it's like
Max. Oh, yeah, there's a little football game going on, too.
It's like, it's mega. Think about it. Instead of mega, it's just max. We're taking the show to the max this week.
Yeah, it's Max Week.
I don't know. I'm dialed. I'm dialed on the birds. I don't know. I don't know what you guys are trying to do.
You're not wearing
right
any
now.
You're wearing
Eagles
a dog.
clothing.
Fine.
are you?
You're wearing a
it's fine.
dog. You're wearing a dog on your shirt right now.
He's wearing KC
Shout
Wolf.
out to Roback.
Yeah, shout out Roback.
Roback.
But the real story is Luka got traded to the Lakers.
Oh, I thought you were going to lead with DeWanna Bonner signed with the Fever.
That too.
Yeah.
Big time stories everywhere. But yeah, Luka Doncic.
Instant championship contenders.
That is big time. Fever are actually building a bully.
Yeah. Hank doesn't know because he's a misogynist.
That's true.
False.
Luka Doncic traded to the Lakers late Saturday night, shocked the NBA world, traded for Anthony Davis. So the official trade, I'm not saying that it's Max Week, but the official trade was Luka Doncic, Maxi Kleber, Markieff Morris, and then the Mavericks receive Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and 2029 LA first-round pick. 2 maxes in the trade.
And now Luka can't get the Supermax.
And so he can't get the Supermax. And then obviously the Jazz also got in there because Danny Ainge was sniffing a trade and was like, I want in. They traded Jalen Hood-Schifino, 2025 Clippers second, 2025 Mavericks second. I don't even know how the Jazz get into it, but it's not hyperbole to say this is probably the most shocking trade in NBA history, just because Luka is 25 years old. He's one of the top 5 players in the NBA. He just took his team to the finals, and he gets traded to the Lakers with no bidding whatsoever.
There was a mystery team.
There's
allegedly.
a mystery team, which I think was added just to make Nico Hollins, what is his name?
The Mavs GM.
Yeah, or am I thinking of Nico Collins?
We'll just call him Nico.
Nico, make him feel a little better. But it seems like they did this deal, Nico Harrison, guy who screwed up the Steph Curry to Nike deal. It's crazy because it feels like the Mavs could have gotten way more for Luka and instead he goes to the Lakers, and now I don't even know what to like. It was a true what the fuck trade.
Well, let's
Shams actually had to say I have not been hacked.
Yeah, this is serious.
Yeah.
Let's kick it over to Magic Johnson, who had a great reply to
Okay.
summed it up nicely. Luka Doncic will definitely make the Lakers a championship contending team. He'll take the pressure off LeBron because of his scoring ability and playmaking, and will make every Laker better. LeBron James will be a positive influence on Luka, teaching him his championship mentality that includes taking his conditioning seriously.
I actually do believe in that part, like that if what?
That's Magic calling Luka fat.
continue.
Well, I mean, Luka's been called fat. I mean, there was a report that he's 270 pounds. I think it's discrimination against big boys that they're trying to drag Luka through the mud, being like the guy's just so fat he can't. We had to trade him. When in reality, you didn't have to trade him. It made no sense to trade him. I mean, Mark Cuban even, I know he's not the owner of the Mavs anymore, but remember a few years ago when he said, like, if you made me decide between my wife and Luka, I'll see you at the divorce proceedings.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
Luka's
it's crazy.
Luka's everything you want if you're a fan. If you're a fan of the Dallas Mavericks, that sucks because Luka, he got you to an NBA Finals last year. Who cares if he's 270 pounds? If he's scoring 40 points every game in the playoffs, you need a guy like that to get there. You need, as Big Cat said, you need a top 5 player.
He's one of the best players
in the
NBA.
NBA. The Celtics, we looked last year. They had Brown. You got to have a superstar.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, it's shocking. I don't understand what the Mavericks were thinking. If you're a Mavs fan, I feel like so sad for you because you get a guy like Luka, and he's going to be part of your life for 15 years, and you're like, we're always going to at least be competing because we have Luka Doncic. And then he gets traded at 25 years old to the Lakers. I don't know how the Lakers keep getting away with it. Is there any chance that Jerry Jones was involved in this because Luka was, the Cowboys have been so bad, new coach, Luka's the star in Dallas, get him out of town.
I don't know, but I recall a trade that didn't go through way back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Paul, you remember that trade? Mm-hmm. And David Stern was like, no, I'm not going to allow this for the good of the league. It feels like this is – obviously AD is a great player. He's very good defensively. He's like been all NBA first-team defense, 7 times?
He's a Hall of Fame player.
He's awesome.
Yeah, no, he's a top 15 player.
So this is not – I'm not saying that it's something where the commissioner should step in and be like, no, this trade can't happen. But – if this trade happens and there's nobody else offering anything for it, if you don't put it out for bid across the league,
right,
it seems like you're maybe you owe something. Maybe you're in debt to the ownership of the Lakers. Maybe you need a favor from the Lakers at a later date, and you're playing nice with them.
Maybe the league needs the Lakers to be good, and they're like, LeBron's getting old, and we got to put a superstar in Los Angeles. Because, that is the history of the Los Angeles Lakers is they just go from superstar to superstar. Before even Magic, Kareem, Wilt Chamberlain, Magic, Kobe, Shaq, Kwame Brown, Smush Parker, like all these guys.
Steve Blake.
And now they go LeBron, Anthony Davis to Luka. It's crazy. It's crazy.
It is. So I was looking at the Lakers roster earlier today. You've got LeBron. You've got Luka. You've got Austin Reeves, you've got Dalton Connect.
Why are Hank and Max making eyes together?
The Celtics and
Max
Sixers are
league.
playing right now. So the Sixers just blew a 20-point lead.
Okay, National Sports Podcast.
Oh,
With
no.
6 minutes to go.
Okay, keep going.
Okay, so the roster.
Yeah, they were literally making like "fuck you" eyes to each
Well,
other.
no, he's been
I
trying to
telling him
communicate.
I was trying to communicate the score of what is going on.
Got it.
Okay,
So, I'm sorry.
Max is locked in on the Birds.
Philly sports.
Got it. You've got LeBron, Luka. You've got Austin Reeves, Dalton Connect. How many balls are there in the NBA? How many balls?
There's one
on the court at any given time.
Well, actually, there's 2. Lonzo, LaMelo.
Yeah, when they're out there.
Yeah, but there's 1.
So the Lakers, I guess they're just going to. You can score your way to maybe a playoff series win, but I don't know. I feel like it's a great move long term for the Lakers. I don't know if they're going to be good this year, but
they'll be good. I just don't know if they'll win the
more
title.
moves to be made,
There's
though.
more
Yeah,
moves,
that's
but
not
this
gonna be
is
the roster on
It doesn't
Thursday.
matter for like LeBron might not win another title. Luka's 25, and they just have him now. Like they're going to give him the max. He's going to stay in LA. They're going to build a whole team around him.
The food is healthier in LA too.
Yeah.
The
He's going to go to Erewhon and be like, what the fuck is this? He's going to lose 10 pounds just looking at it.
The conspiracy is when you see what other players, all-star players, all-pro players, the what the teams that traded them got back in return compared to what the Mavs got for Luka, that's where the conspiracy really gets hot, because it's like Kevin Durant, they got 1 million picks.
Yeah.
Paul George, the Thunder got 1 million picks.
I mean, we're going to talk to Windy, but the Spurs have 9 first-round picks, I think. You don't think the Spurs would have given up 9 first-round picks for Luka? Mm-hmm. I mean, what was Kevin Durant was 4 first-round picks and Mikal Bridges. And Luka is younger than that. And, it just makes no sense. I don't understand it at all.
They traded Mikal Bridges for 3 first-round picks.
I don't understand any of this. It was shocking. I feel like everyone's still in shock. The big loser in all of this is the Mavs fans. I actually think the Mavs might. I mean, Anthony Davis, they'll be a good team, but it's the win. Anthony Davis is a very good player. He's 31 years old. Luka's 25.
How bad do you think it must feel for Anthony Davis? Where it's you're I'm an NBA champion, all pro, unbelievable player, and everyone is just what a terrible trade.
This is one of those situations where it's if you two people that cheat on their significant others and then get together, it's that relationship eventually is going to end up with them cheating again. Anthony Davis got traded to the Lakers when LeBron was we need help and we need to get everyone out of here. And then I'm not saying LeBron said it this time, but that's how he got there.
No,
that's
LeBron
how
was
he
at
gets out
dinner.
of there.
He had no idea.
He had no idea.
He found out just like the rest of us.
Yes.
Now, did you see the press conference that Jason Kidd did with Nico?
No.
That was awkward.
Well, it was also awkward.
very
The entire
awkward.
Mavs team sat out today. They basically protested and they lost by $1 billion to the Cavs.
It was very awkward. You had Nico sitting next to Jason Kidd, who looked like he was in a hostage tape. And Jason Kidd didn't know about it until the trade happened either. And then Nico was like, this might be one that we look back on. Maybe, it could be the greatest thing that happened. Could be bad. And Jason Kidd's just like, Jesus Christ.
What is – did he
Something
lose
happened.
Something happened.
Yeah.
Something has to have happened because otherwise it makes no sense. And it can't just be Luka's fat. And obviously we had the clip of Nico after they won the Western Conference last year taking the beer out of Luka's hand. Maybe that's where the rift started. You never take a beer out of another man's hand. But something had to have happened. It can't just be Luka's 270 pounds.
But
He's not bad.
Luka also twisted the knife. I feel really bad for Mavs fans, but his statement where he was like, I love Dallas. I thought I was going to be here for my whole career and win a championship. I'm sad it didn't happen. That. Damn. If you're a Mavs fan and you read that, that.
Did you see the Mavs fans with the casket?
No.
They had a casket outside of American Airlines Arena. They're just he died. I mean, I don't know how do you get off the mat if you're a Mavs fan? You just went to the finals with Luka. He's a little pudgy. Yeah, he's a little out of shape. He's 25. I do think he's going to get in really good shape with LeBron.
That's where it's if you trade him because he's fat, it's not that. That's a fixable thing.
But he's
Right.
also
Well,
not. The
it
thing
might
is,
not be.
he's not fat. He might be a little pudgy.
He doesn't play defense.
Yeah.
Well, he's not in the best shape that he could be in, and that obviously you need him to be in better shape. But I think
he's in better
being around
shape.
LeBron.
He's in better shape than Zion.
Well, that was the thing is Zion's got to be I would imagine Zion was watching this trade happen. He's like, wait, they can trade you because you're fat? This is going to be bad.
That was James Harden's entire strategy.
Yeah, right. It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was just like, I better try to get in better shape.
Oh, no, I'll get traded to the Lakers.
Yeah, right. What you guys? All right, just tell what the score is.
That I wasn't even looking. That was Hank.
You guys are not locked in. Max is not locked in.
I'm locked in.
No.
Celtics are 4 with 4
Max
minutes
is
to go.
not locked in.
Max,
Max
what-
also isn't wearing
I am
any
locked
Birds
in.
gear.
Why aren't you wearing any Eagles gear?
It's a long
Super Bowl week.
It's Sunday. It's Sunday.
We saw a woman with
Tomorrow
Birds
is
gear.
Super Bowl
Question:
week.
do you have enough Eagles
Pro
gear
Bowl
to
day.
wear for 8 days? Yes
With
or no?
me?
In life.
In life, yes.
So why would you just pack 8 days worth of Eagles gear?
I'm
It's
going-
Super Bowl week.
I will wear Eagles gear every other day.
Like every other day, meaning you wear it tomorrow,
Monday,
then not
Wednesday,
Tuesday,
Friday?
then you'll wear it again on Wednesday.
No, I'll wear.
Every day this week.
Yes.
If there's another Eagles fan that walks by you, they don't know to say "Go Birds."
Incorrect.
I think they look at Max and they
Incorrect.
know.
I got
They see his
someone,
eye.
Someone
Yeah.
did it in the lobby today. right,
"Go Birds"?
right when as they were giving me shit about not wearing Eagles gear and that no one was going to say "Go Birds," some guy walked by right away said "Go Birds."
Go Birds.
I would be head to toe in Commander's gear if we were in this game, Max. Head to toe.
You basically were.
I've been thinking
Today.
about
His clothes stolen. Come on.
Yeah.
1 point game.
Yeah,
1 point game.
It's sad because I got here and I just looked at outside and I was like, how awesome would this week be if the Commanders were in the game? I would like our chances if we were playing this game. I really would.
Even
I feel
after
confident.
losing by a lot.
No, because if we were in this game,
No, but what if they had just been like, you know what? You guys are going to the Super
like
Bowl.
if every Eagle got arrested,
Yeah.
if they shut down the team, there's still
Would
time.
you still
It
like
could
your
happen.
chances?
No.
Okay.
No, but if we had beaten the Eagles,
Yeah, then I would have agreed.
If we had won,
I
oh
would
my God,
agree.
I would love our chances.
I would like your chances as well. Yeah. All right. So anything else on Luka? It's baffling. The Mavs.
I need Cuban unfiltered. That's what I don't know that I'm sure he'll release some type of statement, but I would love for him to just.
And people are blaming Cuban, which I like. Obviously, he had nothing to do with it, but he did have something to do with it because he sold the team. And Mark Cuban never in a million years would have traded Luka because he understands the NBA. And when you have a top 5 guy, you don't trade him when he's 25.
That's all like Windhorst and all the other guys on TV. The insiders are like, I've never gotten reached out by this many GMs and people within the league being like, this makes no sense.
Yeah.
None of it makes sense to anyone except for Nico.
There's got to be some other stuff that happens.
That is very weird.
Yes, well, I feel like we're going to see the Athletic is going to write a postmortem on this trade.
They're going to trash Luka
in like 2 months.
Yeah.
That's when you're going to get the real one.
Yeah.
Where it's like, here's exactly everything. We'll probably hear something later on this week, but I don't think we're going to know the full story for a while. And I don't think that this is done. Hey, credit to the NBA. It's Super Bowl week.
Yep.
And all it took was the most bizarre trade of all time to get us to talk about the league.
They are going to trash Luka this week. There's going to be a lot of, like, I even saw somebody like, well, they don't know, his injury might take him longer to get back. Who cares?
Yeah.
He could have been out for this entire year. You still don't trade him. Or, oh, they were worried about giving him the Supermax. Who cares? It's crazy.
4th of July, Kevin Durant Warriors was like the last time.
Yeah, where I was shocked. And that was, you know how shocking it is when you saw actual players like Kevin Durant being shown on the sideline and him being like, what? How is this? I just don't understand the part that I can't get over. Like, take out the fact that it's shocking Luka got traded. Like the Mavs, they'll be good, but only for a couple more years. Who knows what's going to happen with the Mavs? Everyone wants Luka. Why didn't you just say, hey, Luka's available? Every team would have lined up to give everything for Luka.
That's the part that makes you do the Windhorst fingers.
Right.
It's like, why this guy? And then why don't you give every other team an opportunity to bring their best and final offer, and then you get a fucking king's ransom?
Because Luka even said he had no idea about this, which, again, you're right. Like, we're going to find out more in a couple months. But the only way that this trade would make sense is if Luka said to them, hey, I'm never signing the Supermax here. All I want to do is go to the Lakers. And then he has to do whatever he can to get him to the Lakers. But
I don't
still,
think that,
even then, if you're a GM, just you have the leverage. Go fucking trade him somewhere else.
I don't think that would happen. What player would be like, I don't want to sign the Supermax? Players sign with shitty teams for Supermaxes all the time.
Yeah.
That's how Bradley Beal ended up in Phoenix. But the thing is, with the GM and his statement that he put out afterwards, he said, like, this is us getting ahead of what could be a tumultuous summer as we decide whether or not to give him the Supermax. He basically didn't want to have to make a hard decision.
It's not a hard decision.
So he
it's
trades
not
away
a hard
Luka Doncic.
decision.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, sign him to Supermax, put him on Ozempic. That's an easy decision. I don't get it. None of this makes sense to me. I'll be baffled forever for this trade unless something crazy comes out and it's like, Luka actually is going to retire and move back to Europe.
What about the International League?
What about it?
Well,
What if, I don't know, I saw
they have Supermaxes?
I
We have a
this,
Supermax at home.
I floated this on the plane. I don't know if that's what Max is bringing up.
that they're starting
There's
the
a
new
lot
internet.
of shit floated out on
Yeah,
the plane, by the way.
this might not be
Hank
meant-
went full conspiracy theorist on us.
It might not be meant for the podcast, but since Max brought it up, I was like, oh, what if LeBron, when he starts his international league, he gets the Saudi oil money in, and Luka knows that he's going to be able to get paid $500 million.
Was this before or after the Hank said that we have like 5 years max left to live?
Because of the AI.
Maybe that's why Nico did it.
Sacred anymore.
Maybe Nico is under the line of thinking of Hank, where it's
We're
like
just joking around.
Luka, we only have a 5 year window on life.
I'm just trying to
The world.
kill time.
Luka being 25 means nothing.
He's like, have you noticed that we don't talk about the bridge in Baltimore anymore? Something's up.
the Dolphins.
By the end of it, I had Hank.
There's an underwater volcano that's going to go off, and no one cares about it.
I think Hank fully believes that we're living in a simulation right now.
This is not a podcast discussion. You brought up the
I
simulation.
know. I got you deep into the simulation.
I didn't even know about the simulation until you brought it up.
But now you think you're living in one.
No, but you think you're living in one, and you trying to indoctrinate me, and
Oh,
I
wow.
refuse.
You're too real.
Yeah,
You keep it too real.
I was just trying to like have some light convo with the boys.
About we're all going to die.
Yeah. Oh, while we're on the plane, let's talk about some plane accidents. Yeah, memes is
That was
being like,
memes.
oh yeah, some British TikToker predicted that there would be a plane crash of social media company. So that was cool.
Social media couple.
Couple.
Yeah, a couple.
We're a couple.
I'm just going to enjoy
wanna
all my
kiss
time
again?
with you guys. That's
So the
all.
International Basketball League, that could be a thing. Worldwide Wob said, I will say this, something I've been made privy to this morning.
Oh.
The timing of the International Basketball League is not a coincidence.
Oh, was I right?
Worldwide Wob. Source.
Question.
Answer.
Score.
Oh, I was looking at Twitter. Answer. Yeah, it's over. Celtics are at 5.
Let's go.
Minute 12 left.
Stay locked in on the Birds.
Yeah, who cares? I want the Sixers to tank anyway.
Other sports.
Well, there was
yeah.
one other person that weighed in on this trade, Schefter.
Oh.
Adam Schefter, and I think we have to discuss this with him at the Combine. But he tweeted out an NFL equivalent: the Ravens trading Lamar Jackson plus to the Bengals in exchange for Joe Burrow plus.
No. Not even close.
You don't agree with that? First of all, I don't know.
Ages are different.
I told him that Lamar Jackson
Wait,
plus
who's-
and Joe
who's
Burrow
who in-
plus.
who is who in this
That
situation?
sounds like a streaming service.
Yeah.
like he's exchanging two different.
No,
But in that, there's no ads.
the one that I saw that made sense for the NFL would be like after the Bengals went to the Super Bowl because they lost in the Super Bowl, like the Mavs lost in the finals. It'd be like trading Joe Burrow for like Dak Prescott. You'd be like, why? Why would you do that?
if
Bengals?
Dak had won anything.
Yeah, I guess if Dak had won, well,
like
the
Matt
bubble
Stafford.
champion, the
Yeah,
bubble
no.
champion.
It'll be Matt Stafford.
Matt Stafford, but yeah, the bubble champ. Yeah, Matt Stafford would be a good
Matt
one. 'cause he's
Stafford.
Yeah, there you
older.
go.
Yeah.
But yeah, like trading Joe
Right
Burrow
now,
in his prime,
Yes.
Yeah.
right before, like to someone who's also good, but I guess Matt Stafford's more because Dak is 17th ranked quarterback. Someone who's older, it's like, why would you do that? That makes no sense. But nice try, Schefter.
But I like him getting involved.
Yeah.
And then everybody else was just putting trades in NFL terms all day.
Do you think Woj would have known about this?
I think Woj.
Is this a Woj vacuum where we were surprised because Woj isn't with us?
Here's what I like to imagine happened. I like to imagine that Woj got the scoop.
Yeah.
And he had it first.
He knew it for a week.
And he looked at his phone, and there was a moment where he thought to himself, I'm about to go back to the old me.
Yeah.
And then he smiled and he goes, nope, I left that life behind a long time ago and put the phone away.
Yeah.
And just didn't log on for about 12
He
hours.
sees Beer Man in the St. Bonnie student section. He's like, no, this is the life I live now.
Yeah.
I'm here with my people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He went
I would like
clean.
to think he knew. Mm-hmm. He should have just tweeted being like, I knew about this.
Yeah.
just to piss everyone off.
Just eyeballs.
It was waiting for this to come out. Crazy story.
Yeah. Well,
Oh yeah, that's right. They told me about this 2 months ago.
just give us the eyeballs next time you know something. You don't have to break it.
Yeah, he could do that for every single one. All right, other national sports podcast news. Coach Cal going back to Kentucky dropped his nuts on Kentucky. That sucked for Kentucky fans. Did you guys see there was like multiple people being like, "Don't boo him."
Yeah, that was a big conversation.
Yeah,
leading up to
fucking
it.
boo
Yeah,
him.
boo him.
Boo him.
He wanted to leave. Boom.
You can celebrate him when time has passed and he's not coaching the SEC anymore. There'll be a night where you can have Cal come back and celebrate the 2012 team and all that shit. You boo him when he comes back right now.
Yeah, agreed. He's a league rival.
Yeah,
Boo him.
exactly. Boo him. Boo the fuck out of him. Chip Kelly's back in the NFL.
Yeah,
Raiders.
love that.
Is he just going to bounce around? I kind of like this.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know if one place can tie old Chip down.
Yeah.
But yeah, he had a great season at Ohio State. His stock was at a high. It was at a premium.
It was.
And so Pete Carroll, Chip Kelly, do I like what they're building in Las Vegas? I think I might.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot this one. Stathole Sports, our guy, he did mention that Luka was 300 points away from breaking the all-time Mavs record for points scored, which is held by Michael Finley. Michael Finley is part of the front office.
Oh, interesting.
So maybe Michael Finley was like, can't lose this stat. What?
Breaking moves.
Breaking moves. Luka's actually 300
Saw the
pounds.
fun.
Sacramento is finalizing a trade to send De'Aaron Fox to the San Antonio Spurs in a multi-team trade that moves Chicago Bulls Zach LaVine to the Kings.
Yes, all right. They did it.
All right, so De'Aaron Fox to the
Finally.
Spurs.
Darren Fox on the Bulls would be fun.
No, we want to lose.
I feel like that's a
wanna
great trade for the Spurs.
You and I are in a losing
Yeah,
off.
Darren Fox.
Lose,
was-
What did the Spurs give up?
Terms are not out yet.
Okay, so it must be somebody really good. No, that's great. That's great for the Spurs. I want to see Wimby in some actual serious like playoff time this year.
Wait, so what else is in the trade? De'Aaron Fox to the Spurs. Bulls. So what do the Bulls get? They even get a pick?
Big Cat Suite right now is finally, let's lose some games.
No, it's the Bulls actually did it. Lose, get picks, lose some more picks. They shouldn't. I'm tired of being the 10 seed.
Yeah.
And losing the playing game.
Bulls need to get mellow.
Yeah, you want the balls together and draft
the balls
solo
in
ball.
Chicago would be electric.
Yeah, the Chicago Balls.
Yeah.
Glenny's their coach. All right, that was good breaking news. It doesn't hit like the Luka trade though.
No.
Nothing's gonna hit like the Luka trade.
That was a I was in bed. Everyone remembers where they were.
I was also in bed.
I was in bed and then I didn't sleep for like an hour and a half. Like I was ready to go to sleep. One last check and then I was like, "There's no way this is happening." And then
I was sleeping. I was so exhausted from the Taylor Mathis versus Jeff Nadeau spaces that I had to go to bed.
I was sleeping and Stephen Che's tweet broke the news to me.
What was Stephen Che's tweet again?
It was so fucking dumb, and that's how I found out. And I was so pissed.
A baby that was conceived during the Mavericks-Celtics finals would not yet be born, and Luka is no longer on the Mavericks.
What a stupid fucking tweet. I read it like 4 times. I was like, what does this mean? And then I finally read the quote tweet underneath, and I was like, holy shit.
It just means less than 9 months happened. Yeah.
All right. Should we do Who's Back of the Week? Who's Back of the Week? And it is a new sponsor alert.
Big one.
Hit it, Hank. Hit the new sponsor alert sound. Get it. It is Truly Unruly. Truly Unruly is the first high ABV hard seltzer that actually tastes good. Truly Unruly is a hard seltzer that breaks all the rules, drinks light, parties hard. With 8% ABV, it hits hard, but still tastes amazing. Comes in 4 fresh flavors: Tropical Twist, Berry Blast, Citrus Crush, Strawberry Smash. It's the official hard seltzer of Pardon My Take. Find Truly Unruly at a store near you or visit www.trulyhardseltzer.com. Thank you to the people at Truly. They love Pardon My Take. We love them. We got some awesome stuff coming. We're going to get unruly. Truly Unruly. Go check it out now. Like I said, 4 fresh flavors: Tropical Twist, Berry Blast, Citrus Crush, Strawberry Smash. And with 8% ABV, it hits hard but still tastes amazing. Find Truly Unruly at a store near you or visit www.trulyhardseltzer.com. We've got a lot of stuff coming with Truly, so thank you. Truly loves us, so let's love them back. All AWLs, let's get unruly. It's Truly Unruly time, so thank you to Truly. All right, who's back of the week?
Fantastic drinks for the golf course.
Let's go. Yeah. Yes.
Especially the Berry Blast, my favorite.
Way to work golf into it.
And my Who's Back Luke is Rory McIlroy.
Oh
yeah, he's smashing.
Nice. What did he do?
He won the AT&T Pro-Am at Pebble Beach.
Okay.
I saw
27th win on tour.
He nuked a drive like 340 yards and then hit a 7-iron 220.
Yeah, easy eagle.
If I had that distance, I'd be so good.
The Bulls got no picks.
All right. But
Kevin Herter, though.
Wait.
Kevin Herter.
Red hair.
And he's a friend of ours.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Hurt or injured.
I knew they were.
They just got rid of Levine.
They weren't going to get picks. Well, I think we said this with Rosillo. Like they weren't going to get picks.
So they just offloaded Levine, basically.
Yeah. But they're going to get picks when they keep their pick by not finishing in the play-in game.
They're getting worse.
I'm updating my tweet. Okay, no picks now, but picks coming. I think. Okay, no picks.
You got to get worse before you get better.
No picks now.
You got to get real bad.
But picks when they lose.
Do you guys have cap
and
space?
Can keep their picks. Well, yeah, because Zach LaVine was taking up a lot. But picks when they lose. That's the plan.
Balls. Chicago
picks in
balls.
the future. Maybe. Picks in the future, parentheses, maybe. Okay. Rory McIlroy. Golf doesn't start till the Masters. What are we doing?
But this is a tune-up for the Masters.
This might be his year.
This is the Masters tune-up? Oh, his year to what? Blow it and finish second?
No. Yeah, that is the year. He might turn around.
You think so?
Kind of after this weekend.
I like Jake Knapp.
He's a great swing.
A little long shot.
A little younger, but yeah.
Yeah. 20,000 to 1.
Okay.
I like Max Homa.
Same.
I do too.
It's max week.
Max week.
Max
It's
week.
super max week.
Yep.
It's super max week.
Birds week.
Yeah. Birds week, max week. Okay, PFT, who's
Truly's really good. Do people call them Truly and Edelman's? I think I might start. Pass me one of those Truly and Edelman's.
I like that. I like that.
I feel like that's got legs.
Yeah.
My who's back of the week is Six Nations Rugby. Rugby's back.
Oh, you guys are just so on brand right now.
Yeah. Listen, if you can't get up for Six Nations Rugby, there's something wrong with you. Check your ticker. It's great. What, you don't like Six Nations Rugby, Hank?
When was this? I forget what day. Was it Thursday? We were in the cave, or maybe Friday?
Friday and
You're like,
Saturday
hey,
morning.
Liam, can you turn on some Six Nations? And he was just like, what?
Yeah. Well, he's going to start watching. It's incredible. England, Ireland had a great match on Saturday morning. It's a perfect thing to watch on Saturday morning when there's nothing else. If you don't want to watch soccer.
Sevens?
No, it's full 15s.
Ooh.
Yeah, so it's 80-minute games, actual starting national teams for all these countries, and they just beat the fuck out of each other. It's incredible to watch.
Are we in it?
No, we're not one of the Six Nations.
Oh.
It's like the Four Aces. I probably couldn't name all of them. Italy, Wales, England,
That's like one nation.
Ireland. No,
just
these
keep
are the
naming
Six
one
Nations.
nation.
France, and then who's the Six Nations?
Australia.
All Blacks?
I was watching some Jordan Mailata
I think Six
rugby
Nations-
highlights.
He's a problem.
He was an issue on the pitch. Is what they call it, the pitch?
Yeah, the pitch.
Focus
Yep.
on football, though.
That
pretty
is.
sure-
I mean, Jordan
Scotland,
Mailata. Focus
Scotland.
on Jordan Mailata.
Scotland, Six Nations.
So we're going to win?
We're not going to lose.
We're going to finish second like Rory.
No, we're not in it.
This
The
is-
U.S.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we're not going to lose.
We're not going to lose. That's a guaranteed.
All right, my who's back of the week is Kanye West. The Grammys were tonight. He had his wife fully naked, hot.
Not fully.
I guess she had a sheer.
A sheer. She was wearing a sheer.
Also
Hot.
wasn't invited.
Wasn't invited. Hot.
Oh, really?
No.
Yeah, I saw. I say got kicked out on
wife seems
a
like-
court of him not being invited.
Not the nakedness.
So I assumed when you read the tweet, it's like, oh, he's getting removed from the Grammys because of nakedness. I was like, no.
Yeah.
because
I
of-
also think
My
that
rule,
like
my general rule is if you're not invited somewhere, don't show up naked to
yeah,
that place.
but I
you-
also
if you're
think
trying to
there
blend in.
should be a rule if you're as hot as his wife, you should be allowed to be naked, and it's not a problem. Like hot people should be hot people should be able to get naked.
He kind of got cucked by Luka trade too, because he was doing his like once a year random like Twitter pop in
So
where
that
he just tweets a million things.
Yeah, so
And that probably would have been what people were talking about this morning. Like, oh, did you see Kanye's crazy tweets? And nope.
So
All
he
of them.
tweeted, Kamala seems like a very nice human. I just want to say sorry to her kids. And I was like, oh, that's weird. And then I didn't realize that it was because he had just deleted a tweet that said, I used to want to fuck Kamala until she lost. I don't fuck losers anymore. And he spelled losers with 2 O's.
I also like how he said anymore that he
used to.
he recently was fucking loser.
yeah,
Yeah.
like Kim Kardashian, she's a loser.
And then also, my who's back is the Royal Rumble. So it happened. Jey Uso won. Very popular with fans, but huge surprise he won. Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins were both eliminated by CM Punk. I'm just reading Brandon's text to me.
Speed.
Punk was eliminated by Logan Paul.
Speed took that hit.
ISHO Speed was speared by Braun Breaker. Braun is Rick Steiner's son. Cody beat Kevin Owens in a ladder match.
Was it John
Who are
Cena's
you with?
last match ever?
What?
I don't know. I thought I saw that.
Oh, no, he's on a retirement year.
It was his
He's
last
doing
Rumble.
his last Rumble.
Sorry.
Yeah. So yeah, that happened. I mean, the spear was awesome.
It was.
ISHO Speed that was legit. He took a big time bump. Max, who's back of the week?
Oh, no.
I normally don't
Meatballs.
do who's back of the week. Arsenal.
happened?
Birds,
was
dude.
excited about an Arsenal.
Do you know what happened?
Win. They beat Man City.
5-1.
Yep. I was going to say 4-1.
Quite a result.
Might have been 4-1.
Quite a result. Quite a result for the footy. Who's back?
Huge result.
Arsenal is back.
Bad result for Man U today. Bad result.
Yeah,
for
are
the
they getting
lads.
relegated?
No, but they're like getting towards the bottom of the league. It'd just be very funny if Man U got relegated.
That would be
the
awesome. I'm
funniest
rooting for
result
that.
ever. Yeah.
That would be
Me
very
as
funny.
a fan of the footy,
Yeah.
rooting for that.
Max, you're out of your walking boot.
Yeah, but it'll be back on during the Super Bowl.
Oh, okay.
I have it with me.
If
I brought it to
anyone
Nola.
missed Max's performance in the case race, go watch it because he was laying the boom.
I was
Giving
drunk.
out some bumps.
Laying the boom.
I was drunk.
Jordan
That was not a
Mailata.
Coke reference. That was like an actual wrestling
the
reference.
boom.
Yeah.
Did you have any athletes reach out to you?
Colin Gillespie.
Yeah.
Nice.
That was awesome.
That's
Fullback.
huge.
No.
Any others?
Colin Gillespie.
Oh, I was thinking Cullen Gillespie.
That
It's weird that there's two guys.
Colin Gillespie,
Yeah.
Villanova legend.
And what'd he say?
Animal. Exclamation point.
Oh,
Exclamation
nice.
point.
Nice. Okay, let's get to our interview with Andrew Luck. Then we're going to talk to Brian Windhorst. And then we have a very special Monday reading. And we're also going to get a prediction from Max on the Super Bowl score, which we're going to do every single show this week.
Before we get to Andrew Luck, he's brought to you by Mountain Dew. You can add a blast or refreshing tropical lime flavor to your game day with Mountain Dew Baja Blast. Mountain Dew Baja Blast, it's always been part of my game day ritual. You hear that sound? That's the sound of a mountain. Big Cat just opened up a mountain into the mic. Hank, crank one. Crank a Dew.
That is the best.
The boys are cranking Dews.
Oh, my God.
I like cranking a Dew right at halftime. Gives you energy for the second half. Put your fours up when the fourth quarter hits. Mountain Dew is the absolute best, and the tropical lime flavor of Mountain Dew Baja Blast is as refreshing as hitting a game-winning kick. It's as refreshing as your team winning in the playoffs. It's as refreshing as the Super Bowl. Can't wait. Big game this week. We're down in NOLA, and we're drinking some Mountain Dew Baja Blast. Ride the Baja wave on game day. Grab Mountain Dew Baja Blast for you and your crew wherever refreshing beverages are sold. And now here's Andrew Luck.
Okay, we now welcome on a very, 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 very special guest. This is a long time coming. It is Andrew Luck in studio. It is so long time coming, Andrew. I don't even know if you realize this, but your good friend and our good friend Sam Schwartzstein is here. He's been working on it for probably 6 or 7 years. But there was a moment where this podcast was going to read a book just to try to get you on this show. Do you know how hard that is for us to read a book? And we were willing to do it to try to get into your book club to have you come be a guest. So we've been waiting a long time for this.
That's amazing to know. I do think you can do it.
I don't know.
I know you can.
We
I believe in you guys.
But that's like, just to put it in perspective, our listeners who've been doing this for 9 years are nodding along being like, holy shit. That's like when they're like, oh, do you pay for guests? No, we don't pay for guests, but we did almost read a book for Andrew Luck.
Yeah, we tried to read the book. We bought Boys in the Boat. I think that was book one of your book club.
Yep.
And we got through like the first page and we're like, this isn't for us. And then we had Blake Bortles on the show.
Yeah,
a friend of ours. And so we said, you know what? Instead of doing a book club, let's just do the Blake Bortles Wikipedia club.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where every time he's on the show, he'll pick a different topic. We'll all read that Wikipedia page and then we'll discuss.
Yeah.
Did it lead to substantive discussion about new topics? And
Yeah, there were.
Yeah.
There were a couple new
I'm
topics.
trying to remember what we
I
went
mean, the
over.
big one was that Blake learned that snow is wet. He had not realized it, being from Florida.
From Duval.
Oh man, all right, let's start there because I have a million questions. But when you see an introductory press conference from a coach, knowing that you've lived it, are you like, should we as stupid fans judge this, or is it like this is all just the same shit?
You have to
Liam Cohen doing the Duval. Oh, you didn't?
No.
All right, you just had that quote.
I don't have heavy internet presence or access. Honestly, everybody needs a friend like Sam for many, many reasons, including I know about you guys because he will send me text messages back in the day of Big Cat soccer takes.
Yeah, they were
So
bad.
that's how I know about you.
They were always bad.
No, they were great. I loved
mean,
it.
we do
But
think.
yeah, you got to give me context.
Yeah. We'll skip that. Well, the phone thing. Do you still have a flip phone?
No, when my daughter was born, I realized I needed pictures.
Yes.
It was a deep, primal need to take pictures of my daughter and share pictures of my daughter, and now
That's
daughters
fair.
and receive pictures of my daughter.
How long did you? I mean, that flip phone thing, that was real. You were just like, I don't want to be attached to the internet. I don't want to have people be able to text me all the time and call me all the time. I want a flip phone.
Yeah, it was real. I'll be honest. I don't think I thought too much about it. I had it in high school, and I did not feel the need to upgrade per se, and I still am happy I didn't upgrade until when I upgraded, and there's still a massive part of me that wants to go back.
Yeah.
But having a real job and like look at me now, I got 2 phones, baby, 2 iPhones,
Oh,
2 computers.
So you're texting like nonstop now.
I'm trying not to.
yeah.
But when you got 2, it's like, yeah, you are on call with your real job. You are the GM of Stanford.
Yeah.
Is that fair to say? Is that the official title?
Oh, it's absolutely fair. to
Yeah.
say.
So how is that? What is your day-to-day like?
The day-to-day is a lot. We hopped in during the transfer portal. And when I say we, I mean the assistant GM as well, also named Sam, different Sam than that Sam. also Stanford grad, a great guy. But we hopped in during the transfer portal, and the day-to-day during a transfer portal was a lot different than the day-to-day now of like, okay, the roster, there's some solidity around it. We obviously prepare for another portal in April, but different focus now. Feels a little bit like a 9-to-5 job, not like, oh my gosh, I've got to call this parent up of a 20-year-old wide receiver from University XYZ and discuss many things about why Stanford makes sense for him. So it's been a lot. It's been like drinking from a fire hose in many ways, but I love the school, love the university, and we're on the right path.
Were you watching tape of some of the transfer portal guys?
The system that we had, I inserted myself of watching the quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Because I felt like that's, like I had to. Like I played quarterback.
Right.
Obviously that is where my expertise is, and I'd watch a little bit else. But no, I trust our folks, our guys and gals, to go through the process and make sure we're getting out there with kids that can play ball and handle the academic rigor.
Yeah.
So let's just say me and Big Cat are 5-star recruits, both play quarterback.
Yeah.
What's your pitch to us? Because we're also getting offers from Miami, LSU, Ohio State, James Madison, all the big dogs, University of Texas.
Wisconsin.
And then you want Stanford to be in that. You want us to be Stanford football players.
All right, there's a couple things. One, John Elway, Jim Plunkett, myself, Kevin Hogan. Incredible history. Our head coach, quarterback. When I went to Stanford, head coach was a quarterback, Jim Harbaugh. Your guys' best friend, right? Understand, right?
Yes.
Awesome. Two, we are competitive in the NIL world. All right, and the Stanford decision both is NIL here and now, and then I think in many ways OG NIL of like you're going to be connected to the best network in the world in whatever industry you want to go in. And this place produces leaders at a scale that no other place in the world does. I mean, Stanford is special in that way. And you're going to have a long NFL career. You're going to crush it in college. You're going to go to bowl games, going to do all that fun stuff. And then at some point, you're going to have to transition to be a podcast host and running a multi-billion-dollar media conglomerate. And you're going to want to know Stanford people to help you get there.
Okay, question. That was a really good speech, and we're very interested in Stanford. If we attend Stanford, will we have to read a book?
Yeah, baby.
Okay. All right. So we're out. We're out.
Now, my condition is I want to have a phone call with Tiger Woods.
Oh.
Can you make that happen?
Absolutely.
Oh.
Okay. That's
a good
Tiger.
call.
Tiger was an honorary captain for us twice while I played. I think he's been honorary captain a few times. There's a great story. We lost both of those games though, so I got like a bone to pick with Tiger about that. But it's a great story about Tiger that David Shaw, our old head coach, used to say. And he was our coordinator when I earlier in my career at Stanford, where David played for Stanford. So they got back at like 2 or 3 a.m. from like Corvallis or somewhere, played a game in the weekend, and it was raining, and it doesn't off rain up in Palo Alto and on campus, although it is raining today, I think. When they get back, it's like 2 or 3 a.m. They're riding their bikes back to the dorms, and there's a guy standing in like the grass in the courtyard between the dormitories, like with some type of club, like whacking the ground. And people are like, who is that? What's going on? So Coach Shaw walks over, and it's like, Tiger, what are you doing? He's like, it doesn't rain enough here. I need to practice in the rain.
That's perfect.
I love that.
Committed to it. Did you, when David Shaw was your head coach, were you ever like, hey, maybe we don't punt every time?
No.
Okay, all right. That's just a gambling thing where he has punted in like, I think probably on the like plus 35. I think I've seen him punt before. He likes to punt.
He's not punted on the plus 35.
Yeah, I believe so against Northwestern. I'm pretty sure I could find him punting.
Okay, the internet will tell us.
All right, I'm gonna find it.
David
I'm gonna find
Shaw's
it.
worst punts.
I mean, he liked to punt. There was times when he liked to punt. All right, so how are you feeling physically? Do you feel are you still have any nagging injuries, or you feel good?
I feel great. I am grateful for where my body's at. I can do I can ski with my kids and ski with my dad and ski with my friends. I can go surf. I can fly fish. I can hike. I can camp. I can try to play old man pickup basketball, but that's hard.
awesome.
Like you got to be in shape.
Yeah,
and I'm not in shape enough to do that.
Or you just find somebody that's equally in bad shape and you say, hey, let's just not run. I'll defend you. You defend me. We're not going to set any picks. We'll hang out at the 3-point line.
Yeah.
That's a good
But
way to
you
go.
don't often get to just do that, though. Like,
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you actually have to play defense and box out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I don't like that. Every time I play basketball, if I just get through it without an injury, I'm like, that's a good day.
It's a win.
That's a great day playing
That's a
basketball.
big
yeah.
win.
And it's fun to play pickup hoops. Like,
Yeah.
genuinely fun.
Yeah. It's good to just get a sweat going.
That as well.
And get a sweat going, not get injured. That's a successful workout for me.
Mm-hmm.
Your coach at Stanford, Jim Harbaugh, great friend of ours. We all know he's a special guy. He's a very different guy. When was the first time that you realized that, hey, Jim Harbaugh is wired a little bit differently from everybody else?
That's a good question.
Good question.
Thank you.
Great question.
Great
Thank you.
question.
Thank you.
Yeah. Fantastic question. He certainly has a charisma and an energy that comes off of him that is authentic. And it's part of what I think drew a lot of us recruiting-wise to Stanford at that moment. You know, that he was hired after a 1-11 season and some down years. And so to go there around that time, I think you took a leap of faith. I certainly took a leap of faith. But I think the 17-year-old Andrew, myself, realized that he was going to get the most out of me as a quarterback, like that it was going to be hard and challenging. But that's, I think, what I wanted, and I think what a lot of the guys who went to Stanford wanted was to be pushed and to get, you know, to become the best version of football player they could be under him. I'm trying to think of specific moments. I do remember sitting in his office with my father. Like, my dad took me for spring break out to the West Coast to like do like unofficial visits or whatever, and then go ski in Tahoe, which was an awesome father-son trip, and go to a San Jose Earthquakes game, which was super fun too. I remember sitting in his office, and we were sitting there during construction, and Jim was like, don't mind the construction. They're building me a bathroom. we're trimming fat, we're cutting drag, really efficient. I thought, yeah, this guy's thinking about efficiency on football, so you can have his own bathroom. And this bathroom's a little bit controversial. I think there's a great Pete Carroll quote about it where he's like, well, we at USC walk down the hall like everybody else to use the men's room.
The rivalry rocks.
That's wasted energy.
Yeah.
Yep, cut and drag, trimming the fat. And that was how the experience for playing him was like. I mean, you were kept on your toes. There was a lot of energy. You were pushed hard. It was challenging. You know, football's not an easy game. It's not easy to be a good team. It's not easy to develop, you know, players. And he certainly pushed us and challenged us. For
Yeah. I mean, he is a great coach, and you see it even with the Chargers this year. They're in a rebuilding year, and they went to the playoffs, and his culture, you just see it in the post game and how much everyone buys in. Was that immediate when you got to Stanford and you're like, okay, this is like everyone's bought into what he's selling, and you can feel it in the locker room and you can feel it in training camp?
That's a good question. I think.
Thank you.
I'm gonna stop saying good question.
Yeah, we're gonna do that.
Is this a bit? Is this a bit?
Every single time.
Is this like a bit?
No matter what.
Bit?
When you say good question, then we all compliment the question. But it's a very effective technique in terms of, like, if you get asked a question, then you say good question, it gives you like 5 seconds to think about what your answer is going to be.
And then we just compliment each other.
I'm hedging for time.
Yeah.
I forgot the question.
Yeah, it was such a
Can
good
you ask
question.
that good question?
It was such a
again?
good question. Like, in terms of culture, when you get to Stanford and you're watching how he deals with the team and how he coaches the team, was it immediate where you're like, okay, I made the right choice, and what he's doing and what he's building here is going to be special?
Yeah, I didn't doubt that for a second, and the staff was awesome. I mean, Coach Shaw, Willie Taggart. I mean, like we were around an amazing staff. Our strength coach Shannon Turley. But I also think, like, as an 18-year-old, part of me, I think once you get there, you're just like, I just want to do everything right and be a good teammate and be a player. And you don't. I wasn't thinking too big picture about it, and I certainly didn't go in. You know, like, I'm excited to go to Stanford, so why would I go in and doubt what this was all about?
Right.
So I don't think I was thinking too much sort of at the meta level about it. And then I think the proof does have to be in the pudding on things, right? Like, and I think while we redshirted my freshman year, we won more games than the previous year. So you can point to that as proof of progress. And then I think we understood that this was going to work, and it sort of did. And also, like, I got to play around there. There's some really incredible football players. Like last night, we had Sam and I had dinner with Jim Dre, the tight ends coach for the Chicago Bears. He was one of the older guys in the locker room when we came there. He was an incredibly tough dude.
Yeah.
Like, he tore everything in his knee on punt before we got there and walked himself unaided across the field to get off, right?
Right.
And then comes back, and he's a second. I think he ended his career at Stanford as second team all conference, Pac-10 at the time, RIP. With 17 catches.
Right.
Like what tight end gets a second team all conference?
Right.
But he was tough. He blocked. He did everything right. So we played with a bunch of good players and had a lot of fun and bought in.
Yeah.
Did they call the big guns when they were recruiting you? And did they have Stanford Steve give you a call?
No, I didn't talk to Stanford Steve till I'd made it.
Okay.
Yeah, then he gave me the time of day.
Yeah, then he was like, all right, I can let you in.
Steve.
By the way, 4th and 5 from the Northwestern 37.
Okay.
Punt.
Is that plus 35?
I'm just saying, punt.
It's plus 37.
7. I mean, that's a crazy punt with Christian McCaffrey. 10-3 game, second half, 4th and 5 on the Northwestern 37. I remember these things.
That is impressive. He's the winningest coach all time in Stanford football.
Doesn't
history,
matter.
2 Rose
For
Bowls.
me, it's like if I ever meet him, I'm just gonna be like, "Why'd you punt on the 37 in 2015 against Northwestern?"
That game was here.
Yeah, it was, and it was. I'm pretty sure I bet Stanford because I was like, "Oh, there's no chance that Northwestern's going to beat Stanford," and then he punted on the 37, and I was mad for life.
I'm so uncomfortable. You talk about betting on Stanford in this seat right now. No,
Listen, you guys were good.
No more.
What about the bowl game against Oklahoma State when you ran the same run play? Was it 13 times in a row? Was that it?
No, not in the bowl game versus Oklahoma State.
Oh, who was it?
I need to check the archives with
What?
Sam.
Sam just
It was
said
against USC.
Sam just said that you punted 30. We only punted 34 times. You only punted 34 times when you were the quarterback.
Okay, well, you were a little
pretty
different than I mean, you don't have to have your teams punt that much. So, all right, so
a punt can be an incredibly effective play
From the
though.
37?
I got to play with Pat in Indy, and he had an All-Pro year as a punter, and it when you're pinning guys in the 10 and the 5.
Oh, this was a touchback, by the way.
That's
It's a 17-yard punt.
Yeah.
So there you go.
next topic.
Walked right into that one. I do love the fact that you enjoy a good punt. Jim Tressel, he
taught
loves
us
the
that,
punt.
yeah.
He's
And a good sweater vest too.
Yeah.
he's the biggest fan. It's the only play in football where it changes possession.
Yeah.
Like designed. Yeah.
By design.
By design.
By design.
So what was the hardest thing that you had to do at Stanford? You said that it was like you wanted to challenge yourself. You get there and you're like, oh, this is really hard playing competitive college football. What was the hardest thing that stood out and you're like, okay, this isn't high school anymore?
We had tough practices. Now, as a quarterback, football practice is fun. I think as a lineman, football practice isn't fun.
Yeah.
Right? So like we used to, like freshman year, redshirting, and maybe redshirting is not in vogue anymore, and I'm not sure why. I think one of Coach Taylor's, our head coach's quotes that we were talking recently, I was like, Andrew, not all experience is good experience. You can go out early in football and be damaged in a sense.
Right.
Experience. But redshirting, we used to have these Wednesdays of just like grinder, full padded scout team. We were running the scout team. I maintain we may have had one of the better scout teams ever in the history of college football. Like David DeCastro, John Martin, Sam was center. Griff Whalen, Chris Owusu would come down and play. Like he was an All-American kick returner, fast and incredible. It was awesome. But these would be like 30 play periods of full pads against, and we'd called it the Death March, and we would just sort of hum the Star Wars, whatever it is, bom, 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 like the whole time. But we survived those, and I think we proved our mettle to each other, and I think that sort of helped us build this mythology that we are a tough team. Even when we're redshirting, we're doing 30 plays in a row of run to get our guys ready. So that was fun. And balancing school and sports is hard. I mean, it is hard. We do read books and go to class and turn in our work and do all the little things right. And so while it's, you've got to go earn it. And I certainly believe that about Stanford. I also think it's why Stanford's so special for me and why I believe in it. And that the hard things genuinely have value to them.
Yeah.
And stuff that's given to you for free or for nothing is cheap.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. And there's nothing sort of cheap about the Stanford experience.
What was it like being, for 2 years straight, everyone being like, he's the number one pick, he's a generational talent? Because I always find that to be interesting to have that kind of pressure on a college kid when we've seen it a couple times where like a guy stays and everyone just is like, hey, they're talking about him. And then what ends up happening is you kind of get picked apart a little bit because it's 2 straight years of being the number 1 pick, and you're like, hey, this is kind of crazy. Just because I stayed, you're going to pick me apart now. Did you feel that pressure of everyone talking about you like that?
Bad question.
Okay.
Bad question.
Bad question.
So, look, like, I think. Did my friends talk about that? No, not at all. Did my teammates talk about it? No, not at all. Like, did my girlfriend, who's not my wife, talk about that? Not at all. Did my friends on campus, professors? No. And I had a flip phone, and I wasn't scrolling through whatever it was at the time. So I think I was aware of the pressure. I also knew I'd earned, like, but part of it was like I was aware also of how good I was at football.
Right.
So like okay, cool. People think I'm the number 1 pick. Yeah, I understand why. I'm probably the best player.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Like, it wasn't.
That's got to be a cool feeling.
It wasn't like it was okay. And I don't mean that in like my ego liked it for sure, but it was also like, I don't know, when you know, you know.
Yeah. Right.
It's like earned confidence.
Yeah.
Right.
And I knew that I was on a team that earned all of that confidence.
Right.
Like, it was not bravado. I think it was more of a level of self-awareness that, like, okay, yeah, I get it, cool. But, like, I wasn't surrounding myself with it in a day. Like, there wasn't a slow drip into my brain of go out, you're number 1, you're number whatever. Like,
that's a very healthy way to deal with it, because I don't know a lot of 20, 21-year-olds that would be able to deal with it that way, having the whole world talk about you that way for 2+ years of, hey, you're the number 1 pick.
Whole world, though?
Yeah,
there's a lot of people in the world that don't care about
They all love football. No, that's not true. Yeah, those are losers.
Yeah.
We don't care about those people.
They don't listen to the show. They don't exist.
Why do you get out of bed in the morning if you're not doing your mock drafts?
The whole world that I care about is what I should have said.
Okay, thanks, big cat.
So as you go into that process, you're interviewing, all the teams are bringing you in, they're talking to you. Actually, our colleague, John Gruden, said that you blew him away on the whiteboard.
I have some questions from Coach Gruden.
Yeah, so Coach Gruden fell in love with you immediately. I'm assuming that you talked to a lot of teams that were not ever going to be in a position to draft you. But how did those interviews go with teams that just kind of wanted to?
I'll be honest, I didn't talk to teams that weren't in a position to draft me. Like, I think they didn't want to waste their time. I didn't want to waste mine. Like, I should say, like, the 49ers staff was all my old Stanford staff. By and large. So, of course, to talk to them and hang out and chat, like, when at the combine and show up, I wanted to get that experience and go to the room where everybody's sitting there and grab, and, like, that was cool. But, like, I only really spoke with Indianapolis and Washington.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and again, like, I think I knew.
Yeah.
And Indy did make it somewhat clear eventually that, like, yeah, we'd like to pick you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just having, the horseshoe and luck next to it.
Oh, yeah.
I felt like it was destiny at that point.
It's destiny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want your Gruden questions right now?
Sure. Why not?
Okay. What the first one, he said you have the greatest snap count in history, so he wants you to do the snap count. He's like, you've got to get him to do the snap count.
Let's talk snap count for a sec, because
Okay.
this is like such a niche part of playing quarterback that I worry so much with this whole like clap thing.
Okay.
And I think there's value to the clap, et cetera, et cetera. But I think Pat Mahomes is incredible at it.
Mm-hmm.
I bet if your stats, if your analytics team, I saw the whole analytics quarter.
We've got a big
Have you seen our analytics team? It's these 3 guys.
Big analytics team. How many PhDs between the
They're just going to Google it, and they'll probably Google it incorrectly.
But I bet if you look at how many offsides he's drawn over his career since starting, I bet it's going to be probably the highest ever.
It's because the refs cheat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know
for the
about anything
Chiefs.
about that.
Rodgers.
And then Rodgers.
Yep.
Yeah. So those two I really enjoyed. Certainly Aaron, because he was older and you grew up watching, and I remember all the free plays. I feel like he would just hit a touchdown every other game to Jordy Nelson on a free play that was busting. They'd throw it up, or Randall Cobb, like it was awesome, or James Jones. And then when I got to Stanford, Jim Harbaugh would do like a lesson for us on. He's like, you gotta have a voice to play quarterback. You gotta have a voice. You gotta have it's got to be gravelly. It's got to cut. It's got to cut through. It's got to cut through everybody. You gotta cut. And so he wanted us to have and not like Reddit. It had to have like it had to cut. It had to go. So I embraced it. I think part of what I loved about playing quarterback, there's all these little things that you actually can work on.
Yeah.
And working on a snap count was something that was fun and enjoyable. And we didn't draw a bunch of people off sides at Stanford, not at all. But we were doing like double counts and long counts because we actually had play calls where we killed and alerted things and needed to see what the defense was doing. So I feel very fortunate I was taught how to play quarterback while I was there.
Right.
Jim Harbaugh, David Shaw, the way Greg Roman taught run game to me, it was a gift, right? I think I got to, it was awesome. That's what the identity of our team in many ways was, this like very physical, tough, smart run game. And also when I got to the NFL, I felt like I'd been prepared to handle a run game.
Right.
And if you can't operate a run game in the NFL, there's only so far your team's going to go.
Right.
I think I truly believe that. And then, snap count. Once I got to the NFL, though, Bruce Arians would dog my snap count in the first mini camp because I would sit there and go, and go like, Sigo, red 80, to draw it out because I was thinking, I was like, oh fuck, this is overwhelming. I'm playing an NFL defense. And like, Andrew, wait, and BA in his voice, which I can't do a great impression of, who was amazing as well and worth probably a podcast series on him as a coach.
Yeah. He had some very nice things to say about you too.
Yeah, we've had him on a couple
nice
times.
Things to say about BA as well.
So we asked Bruce Arians if you were to take all the quarterbacks you've ever coached, because he's coached so many great quarterbacks, and if you were to piece them together by body part, by brain, okay, whose legs are you putting on here? Whose right arm? Whose brain? Whose heart? Whose hips are you taking? He goes, I'm going to stop you. It's just all one person, and the answer is Andrew Luck.
Yeah.
For everything.
That's very kind.
So he thought that you were the best quarterback at everything that he'd ever coached. But I'm sure that there was something like when he was working with you that you guys just clicked immediately and kind of got each other.
He was awesome. He taught football and looked at football in such a different way, and like he coached everybody hard and like hard, and I appreciated that so much. And then he'd cuss you out or like whatever, very colorful, like an odd mixture of like East Coast and Southern accent. I don't know quite where it lands.
Yeah.
With like real pirate-filled language, and like he'd tell Bear Bryant stories. Like, oh my God, he coached under Bear Bryant at some point. Like,
yeah,
that's neat. But like with the snap count, he's like, Andrew, what are you doing? Speed it up. Like we got to go. And this was part of his thing. Bruce he didn't care about time of possession. He cared how many points he wanted a point a minute. If we couldn't get a point a minute, what's the point of holding on to the ball? What does it matter? But he was awesome. And then I realized in snap, like. So with snap, I'm gonna go back to the snap count because it's related to Bruce. Bruce was really fun to play with. I had him for a year, and it was an incredible year too because Coach Pagano got sick with leukemia, and Bruce took over, and like I was certainly very focused on playing quarterback because you have to be. It's too overwhelming of a position to think about much else. But like it wasn't only honestly till I retired and looked back like, oh my God, like Coach Pagano was going through he was in a cancer ward 5 blocks from the stadium. Like that's scary.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's nuts. And so BA like guided that ship, and then certainly got the opportunity to be the head coach and have this amazing success, which we were super stoked for. But with snap counts, because we got to go back to snap counts.
Gruden said you have the best ever, greatest snap count in history.
It wasn't. But I started to realize like Anthony Costanza, like left tackles. Like I think there's like 2 personalities that play left tackle. Like either you're completely type B and just like chill, or you are as neurotic can be and just like so focused on everything to help give you an advantage, because it is a tough position to play. I mean, really, really, really tough. And so I realized that Anthony and I started having these conversations about how to help each other, and realized snap count was needed. Like to absolutely, and it's obviously there's self-preservation as part of that. But realize like when you're under center, on the hut, if you're doing a hard count, you needed flex your bottom hand to make it look like the ball is about to come. So if you had a 3-tech or a nose who got the jump on hand, like you use that. You had to marry snap counts and words from previous, and I wasn't, this was a thing. This was an iterative process, so I was certainly better at it at the end of my career than not. But snap counts. I hope football doesn't lose snap counts because they're too good.
Yeah.
Did you try to get me and Big Cat to jump?
Yeah. So there's a couple different ways, but like the biggest way is this: everybody knows, hut is like the word to go.
Yeah.
So I preferred the hut rhythm as opposed to the hut rhythm.
Okay.
Right? So an on one would be like, so go, color number hut. So go, green 80, green 80, hut. And that's the ball snap, right?
Yeah.
And so then a hard count, the one I preferred, the one I settled on, the one I'd consider as part of my, like, it's my baby.
Yeah.
And I'd be curious if other coaches or other quarterbacks think about this, was like the, so go, green 90, green 90, hut.
I jumped. That was awesome.
I don't get to do that enough.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, it's your baby.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go walk through the airport. I'm gonna walk through Midway today, just thinking about that all
That's
day.
great.
You'll be like, got you to move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great question by All right, so here's the other question. This one's not as nice. He said, I thought he had the ugliest beard in the history of quarterbacks, and I studied this carefully.
It's a weird question.
I like that. I studied this carefully because I actually believe Gruden.
Does John Gruden not study anything?
Yeah, right. I believe that he literally had like a big board of all the beards and was like, yeah.
I believe in second chances. I believe I deserve a second chance.
It looks
with
good
my
now.
facial hair.
Yeah.
I think we're in the same sort
Yeah,
of. I can't
right.
grow as well of good of a mustache as you, though.
But it does get long. When it gets long, it gets a little unkempt.
It definitely was unkempt.
Yeah.
What time when you play quarterback do you have to shave, though?
Yeah, that's a
What
great
time you
point.
got to cut drag? You got to trim the fat. You got to focus on what's important.
You-
My beard was not important.
So you
Or
had
neared.
that. You had that. I read that incredible article in 2022 about you and like post football and everything in the decision, and you had that quote of like, you don't have time for basically anything else if you're a quarterback in the NFL. And that one quote, I can't remember who said it to you. Like, if you're a quarterback in the NFL, you have to think of yourself as God's gift. Otherwise, the doubt creeps in, and that's got to be a weird feeling to have to hold yourself to that and be like, I have to control everything and only think about this one thing. Not exactly healthy, I would imagine.
Yeah, and I think this is an idea that I would certainly love to keep fleshing out and talk to others about.
Yeah.
I think it is fascinating, and it certainly the quote comes off as quite extreme, and maybe in real life it's not as extreme, perhaps. But I do think there are kernels of truth in there for sure.
Well, I mean, you're a quarterback they call it the most important position in sports for a reason.
Yeah.
It is, the franchise rests on the quarterback's shoulders, whether they want it to or not.
Yeah, I do, when I think about it and whatever, had the time to process and think, I do think when you go on the field as a quarterback, you cannot leave any room for doubt. And I think one way of doing that is and especially if it's connected to preparing and working hard and being on it, et cetera. But you have to go out there thinking that you are God's gift to this thing. That's a level. It is an intense level of confidence.
Yeah.
And I do think and I grew up in football. I had, my dad was my Pop Warner coach. He played quarterback. So obviously as a kid I had a schema and I want to be like my dad. I want to play quarterback. And then I had great high school coaches, Coach Allen, Coach Green, Coach Sanders, Jim Harbaugh, David Shaw at Stanford. So I was taught that you had to work hard. You didn't just roll the ball out there until the preparation was part of it. And so that was part of what I knew I had to convince myself, you can do this, dude. Yeah, you're talented, all this stuff, but you're putting the work in, and you're putting the work in with a team. And that was the only scheme I knew. And I did not, I did not, while I played, do a great job of tending to life outside of it, including relationships. And thankfully, didn't burn too many bridges and mess too much up irrevocably. But that it's an odd balance, I think, for those playing the position.
Yeah.
And frankly, I haven't talked to many others about it, that have played quarterback in the NFL, sort of at that level. And it is something I'm curious to hear from others about.
Yeah.
Of how they sort of psychologically handled it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I think the great quarterbacks kind of see that same burden and that same responsibility. They have to throw themselves into it because they feel, okay, it's on me in order to go out there and, do the best for my teammate, do the best for my coach. I'm going to need to be the most prepared person in the world. But then there's some guys that are just like, no, it's a job. It's fun. Yeah. But they don't reach that high level of success. Would you say that, did you get burned out on playing quarterback?
That's a good question.
Good question.
Thank you.
Damn it.
No, it's okay. It was a good question. I could tell you
that
meant
one was a good question.
Is there a burnout factor?
Not about being maybe a little bit about being quarterback. And I think in that article you referenced, Big Cat, that I think I addressed that to a certain degree. Injuries adding up, I think is a common theme in any professional athlete's sort of coming to an end in a career, and that was certainly a big part of mine. And yes, parts of it I think got tiring. Maybe that's too light of a way to say it. Maybe burnout is part of it for sure.
Yeah.
Was football still fun for you at the end?
No, not like a game. And I found the fun in it again though, not playing, which is I'm not gonna say full circle, but I think in the windy way that life works. Like I did not love football when I did not love football like you need to play quarterback. I think I also realized that to go back to playing quarterback, you're either like all in or you're not. It's to me, in my mind, the scheme of how you emotionally invested, physically, psychologically, spiritually invested in quarterback is like it's binary.
Right.
You either aren't or you are 100% in. And I hit a point in my life where I was like, I am unwilling to hop to the 100% in, so I can't do it.
Yeah. And the article was, like I said, really great because I feel like you were able to fully explain it. And I reading it was like, oh, I think I understand the complexity of this, because as fans, we just see it as Andrew Luck just walked away from something that everyone would dream, their dream job. Like, how could he do this? But were you shocked yourself when you came to the conclusion, like your own conclusion, where you're like, oh shit, I actually think I do kind of want to walk away? Because I feel like that would be a very illuminating moment where it clicks and you're like, oh man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It was by far the hardest decision of my life. And then when it did sort of finally, when I allowed myself to ask the actual question that mattered.
Right.
And then and allowed myself to give an answer to the question that was truthful. It was like, whoa, okay, this has been hard, but yeah, this is what I have to do.
Right.
So there was a moment of clarity. It was the hardest decision in my life, but also like the most clarity I've had about something. And look, I did not feel alone through that as well. And I can't imagine going through a process feeling alone.
Right.
Through that, like my girlfriend at the time, her wife, like the agents, my friends. I mean, Sam flew to Indianapolis to talk to me, and this was kick. But like, man, it feels amazing to have people that love you around
right,
you.
yeah.
Like that's like we all deserve that. And then I'll say this: it was my dream to play quarterback, and I feel so grateful and privileged that I got to do that.
Right.
It was awesome, and it did not end fairy tale-esque by any means. You have an AFC finalist banner.
Yeah.
It's a great
For
banner.
us, you don't have a Super Bowl banner for the.
How many guys can say they have an AFC finalist banner?
Not a lot.
Not a lot.
Not a lot. Because they don't make those banners.
When they hung that up, were you like, oh God?
I didn't pay one bit of attention. I have no idea when it was hung up or taken down. I understand that you guys have had a story about it
Yes.
for a while.
This is back to you having a
Which
flip
is-
phone, which is smart.
Yeah, which is cool, but like I
Yeah.
don't know. Sam explained on the drive-in that like there's going to be a banner there. And I was like, I think I know that there's some story behind this. And then it turns out the banner's huge.
Yeah,
Massive.
enormous,
Yeah.
enormous. So, all right. So when you do make the decision, and I always felt bad that it like got leaked, obviously with Schefter, and then you have the moment on the field. That had to be like really hard to have it be rushed, because you had it probably in your head like, hey, this is how I want to do it. I know it's a big decision. I know it's going to shock some people, but then have it kind of taken away from you where someone else reports it and you don't get to say it, and then you have to deal with the fans on the field and everything. That sucks.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, it was difficult.
Yeah.
Also, like you survive, you move
Yeah.
on. I felt a couple things. One, I had written a couple drafts of like a retirement press conference. It wasn't like going to be a happy retirement press conference, obviously, not like the traditional ones you see. But I'd written a couple drafts and shared it with Matt Conti, our PR guy at the time, and I still think so. So he at least had a copy of something for me to talk about after the game. So I was thankful about that. I felt good about it. I was like, this is like writing a paper for school, and you actually put in a couple drafts and get notes back from the professor.
Right.
Like, yeah, good job, Andrew. There you go. Pat on the back. Yeah. Two things. I had taken the opportunity to tell the guys on the team on Friday and Saturday morning that I'd been with for a while.
That's good.
That I'd felt very much like
Yeah.
tethered to, like T.Y. Hilton.
Yeah.
Who I love.
Yeah.
And who made playing football fun.
Yeah.
Like throwing to a dude like that. I don't think people understand how fun it is when like you have a connection to a receiver like that when you're rookies together, and you like fun and so that was like the real bittersweet stuff was telling him and Jack Doyle and Anthony and Quentin Nelson, who I didn't, we'd played 1 year together as a rookie, but like just like a lovable and loving guy.
Yeah.
And Ryan Kelly. So I'd had the chance to tell, and Clayton Geathers and some of the coaches. So at least, and I didn't have a chance to tell everybody, and that's what hurts because, being a teammate. But like to a certain degree, I was also quitting on them, and I understand that like that's.
It's hard.
That's hard, and it's not. It's hard to celebrate that.
Yeah.
And that's a part of me that like I get. It stinks. I live with that and own it, and that's okay. It's part of me. Yeah. The other thing is during the game, like I remember there were 8 minutes left, and I swear I felt the cameras turn on me or something, and like immediately. Like, I don't know if you've had this experience in life where there's just such certainty that something has happened.
Right.
It's like, oh shit, it's out.
Yeah.
I know it's out. And I just remember going and standing next to Anthony Costanzo, I think Mark Lewinsky and Ryan Kelly, and just standing between them. And just like, hey guys, I'm just going to stand between you for the next 8 minutes.
Protect me one last time.
Yeah, and I'm going to stand there. And again, I didn't feel alone.
Yeah.
And I think, I don't mean this in a cheesy way. Like I felt like, they had my back, for those 8 minutes, and I'll be forever appreciative of that, and indebted to that because they were great teammates in a moment they didn't have to be.
Yeah,
and
then, at all.
Then after this all comes out, were you aware that O.J. Simpson had just drafted you for his fantasy football team?
Yeah, you didn't think of the fantasy owners. That was my one.
Everyone was doing the drafts, and then O.J., God rest his soul, friend of the program. He drafted Andrew Luck, and you just blindsided him. Did you ever apologize to OJ for that?
Unaware, did not.
Yeah,
I had no need to apologize.
Yeah,
no.
But think about
bad question.
Think about the fantasy owners.
You were on OJ's can't cut list,
Yeah.
which is a good place to be.
That is huge place.
I don't get it. Don't explain.
The fantasy owners, though. That it is always fun. We mock it because it's like a player will get like a gruesome injury like week 2, and immediately people will be tweeting like, "Oh, my fantasy team's screwed." It's like, yeah, but that guy just got really hurt. Like, think about that. So yeah, you screwed the fantasy owners over that late in the preseason.
What do you guys enjoy mocking most?
I mean, there's a lot.
Can you give me a good question?
Darren Ravel, probably.
Yeah, Max. A lot of things. Basically, our whole show is basically the fact that sports are taken too seriously and it's just a joke. Like
that I know about this show.
Yeah. Like
it's all like can I interview you guys for a second?
Yeah, go ahead.
Like the genesis of it.
Good question.
Yeah, good question. Great question.
Good question.
You can say talk about. Reporters love doing that. Talk about the genesis.
Well, the genesis of it was more of a good statement.
Yeah.
Maybe it was. There's a try. Yeah, talk about that. Tell me. Enlighten me. Indulge me.
So no, we got very lucky because we started this at a time when podcasts were very new.
What year?
2016. So we're coming up on 9 years. So like now everyone has a podcast. We were not that podcasts didn't exist before 2016, but there was definitely a wide open lane for us. And our goal from the very beginning was we have to have fun and make sure people know we're having fun because sports are supposed to be fun. And I think the world got very serious around that time as well. So we became a little bit of a breath of fresh air where it's like, hey, we're not going to burden you with any big picture things, with any like politics, with any serious topics. We're going to watch sports and we're going to make fun of sports and make fun of ourselves more than anything. So that's been the big thing. And you did screw over the fantasy owners.
Yeah. Well, specifically OJ.
Yeah, specifically OJ.
So like tell me more about the genesis. Though. Were you guys listening to sports radio? Like I used to listen to sports radio driving into school in high school. Yeah, and like
I think me and Big Cat both had the same point of view when it came to like the sports media ecosystem, which is, they took themselves very seriously. You would get dressed up in a suit and tie to get on TV and scream and yell about the National Football League. And it was like they weren't treating the viewers with respect. Almost. It's like they became so self-important when they were talking about this stuff. And then I also became obsessed with the comment section. Anybody that would like comment on an article and their mindset that they almost took the league more seriously than people who were being paid to write and talk about the league. And it became just this giant like big ball of gas of bluster. of everybody that was obsessed with insisting their viewpoint was correct. And it was just very funny that they were taking it so seriously. So me and Big Cat started following each other online, and then we met up, had a beer, and said at some point we should do a podcast together. And then, time ticked by for about a year, brought us to the right spot, and we're like, okay, let's do this.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So the etymology of PFT commenter
Yes.
is that you were actually commenting.
I was obsessed with the comment section.
And you were injecting a levity and humor and not so serious takes in the comment sections, or were you just reading them?
I would read the comment section, and then I created an account and a character that was like, what if you gave your typical commenter their own blog, and then gave them like a long form place to write about everything, and they had the stupidest takes on everything possible, and so that's kind of where I was.
So we intentionally have very dumb takes that might have a kernel of truth, but we're mocking as well. Like actually, when you retired, in 2015, I went to the Final Four in Indianapolis. We got like taken out to St. Elmo's. We went and sat in the basement where Peyton Manning used to do his dinners. I think you used to do your dinners. And I asked them what you order, and I think the waiter said chicken. And then like I was like, yeah, no shit, Andrew Luck retired. He's a chicken guy over steak. Like that. That's my take now. You know what I mean? Like something like that where we're mocking this entire idea that like you aren't allowed to retire when you want to retire. Like you owed it to us.
Cool.
Yeah. So, but you did owe it to the fantasy owners and OJ. So wait. So the real question though, when you retired, because I think everyone thinks this, was there ever a second where you got a call or you're like, oh, maybe I want to come back? Because I think that's the part that people always are drawn to, whether it be Barry Sanders or Calvin Johnson or anyone who walks away a little bit early.
Brett Favre.
Brett Favre. They always think in the off season or just random times like, oh, maybe Andrew Luck will come back. You know what I mean? And so it's a dumb thing that fans do, but they have that in the back of their head for a very long time thinking, oh yeah, maybe he's going to come back. There was never a second where it was even like a little bit of, ooh, maybe I should do it.
Nope.
That's pretty awesome. Because I don't think having that clarity and having that ability to be like, that's it.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure you got calls.
No.
I said the one from, was it Frank Reich texted you being like message in a bottle? I sent it out in SOS.
I have a great relationship with
Yeah,
Frank.
yeah.
And
Being like, please.
And Nick Sirianni, and stoked for him as well. But no, I would stay friendly with Frank and but no. And like again, like I love football in a different way.
Right
now, it's why I volunteer coached at Palo Alto High School for the past couple of years. It's why I'm back in this position for many reasons. At Stanford, and but just not as a quarterback.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I do have some tape for you that I want to watch real quick, Max, if you pull it up. One of the things I loved about you quarterbacking is I feel like you were in the mold of like, I don't want to swear on camera. You probably don't remember this, but this is tape of you. You short-circuited when you swore by accident. Do you remember this?
I absolutely remember it.
Okay, play it real
There's
quick.
more context
You
here.
literally short-circuited. I've never seen someone's brain short-circuit live on air. All right, go ahead.
Look at the film. Look at the highlights. He's the guy that just makes plays. Oh, sorry. Shoot, makes plays and just gets it done.
When
I
you
apologize for that.
when you look at heading into a bye week,
You were so mad at yourself. It was just a swear. You were
First of all,
you were
my-
like devastated.
Big Cat, my beard's not that bad.
No, that's a
I
good
didn't
beard.
say your beard was bad. Gruden
Fair.
said your beard was bad.
Oh, John,
Yeah,
Coach
yeah.
Gruden, my beard's not that bad. I'm also like, late 20s, not early 20s. I did say that was about Griff Whalen, who was my college roommate, a walk-on, Toledo, Ohio, Sylvania Southview, earned a scholarship, had a legit NFL career, also one of Sam's roommates as well. One of my best friends in the world. That was after the Denver Broncos, 2015? 15, I want to say.
Okay.
2015. What's the timestamp of the Twitter thing?
Oh, this was just me after you retired. I just said now
Oh.
you can swear whenever you want.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. That was a Peyton coming back to Indy, which is like cool, like electric atmospheres. There'd been a lot going on that year. We were sort of going like this, and then that year we were going like that. And I lacerated my kidney in that game with like 7 minutes left.
Oh no!
When a knee got me, so I ended up in the emergency room the next day because I was not feeling so very good. And so I think that's truly, authentically how I felt in the moment. Griff Whalen just made fucking plays that game.
Yeah.
And we won.
Yeah.
And that was cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
fair.
And Ahmad Bradshaw caught a touchdown to sort of ice the game. Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Also, anybody that sees you retire and is like, that fucking pussy, I would kill to play quarterback. You lacerated your kidney in a game.
Yeah.
Like that's it. I think most.
And you just described it as I wasn't feeling very good.
Yeah, most reasonable people, if they went out there and they did something at their job where they went home one day with a lacerated kidney, they'd probably talk to their wife and be like, I don't know if this is the right career for me.
Yeah.
I think that's a completely fair conversation to have. And then there is a flip side to it, though. So once you reach that decision where you say, I'm confident, I no longer, my heart's not in it, it's not fair to everybody else if I keep playing, it's not fair to myself if I keep playing, that's got to be a great moment of clarity where you realize confidently this is what I want to do. And then after you actually walk away, there's probably going to be some time where you have to establish a brand new identity for yourself because your job, if you're an NFL player and a quarterback especially, for so long, that's been a big part of your identity. And so did you feel like, I don't want to say empty if that's the right word, but did you feel like, okay, I need to separate myself and start my own new identity at this moment?
Before I answer that, I'll go back to the job thing and the lacerating kidney. It was such a privilege to play quarterback and to make money doing it and do it. Like, it was awesome. So I never once felt pity for myself for playing the position and getting paid. Amazing.
Right.
Amazing. 2, identity. Yeah, it was way more. Being a quarterback was way more of my identity than I realized. Absolutely. And discovering, I don't mean this, maybe it sounds mumbo jumbo, but like having to learn about myself and discover a new one. And like we had our first daughter born a few months after I retired. That certainly helped provide purpose. Like obviously there's a deep biological purpose, of like kids, and tending to them. But my wife also, like, she, I was processing COVID hits, so we're all together with a little baby, stuff, and I was processing football, and I'm, in a career, and finding myself, and had some amazing people, through it, and still, and friends, etc. And she turned to me at one day, and I'm an out loud processor, like, I just talk, and most of it's just like air if I'm just, and she's like, she turned to me one day in the middle of COVID and was like, is it possible for someone to talk about themselves more than you right now? And I said, probably not. I kept doing it. We made it through. But a big part of it was identity. And I think it's like, sort of locating myself, who I am in the world, and grounding me in it. I think that was part of the process.
Yeah.
Did you ever, did your dad call you up when he started the XFL? Did he call you and say, "Hey, Andrew, I can get you $25 million.
Really?
You want to come back
really
for one
use you
season?"
for a game.
Bad question. Yeah. No, not at all. Yeah.
That's. I mean, it's. Reading that article, like I said, everyone should go read it because it did feel like
so you do read, man.
I do read, but it's an article,
It's
and it
about
took
sports.
me. I think I think
that
I
wasn't
stopped,
a short article.
I think I
as
stopped
remember.
and started 4 different times.
You made it through.
Yeah, but I made
four
it through.
quarters. 4 quarters. Hey, when you got to the 4th restart, you're like 4 quarter. Did you give
put
yourself
up the
one?
4s. I was like, hell yes, put up the 4s. Oh man, do you ever dream of football?
I have dreamt of football.
Like, do you have memories of like games and stuff where you're dreaming, you wake up, you're like, oh shit, that was weird.
No. The last time I dreamt about football, I want to say was like showing up to a locker room without like the equipment and freaking out that like, where's my helmet? I can't go. Like the embarrassed dream. I don't know. Like the what the heck? Like the freak out. You're never actually playing, but like I don't have the helmet and my hip pads. Where are my hip pads?
Right.
I need my hip pads and my tailbone pad.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hurt my tailbone.
I think it's a pretty common dream. Most people have it just about like high school. And
Yeah.
they show up for the last day and they haven't gone to that class all semester.
Yeah.
You just think about that like football, like, oh, I'm not prepared.
But it was
for
once.
this.
And it was. I don't know. I don't remember what it was, but I remember waking up thinking like, that weird.
Yeah.
Do you still watch the NFL?
Yeah, I do.
Do you find yourself like rooting for the Colts? Do you find yourself rooting for quarterbacks?
I absolutely have a soft spot in my heart for the Colts. Spent age 21 drafted there. Like I felt like a kid when I was drafted there. My girlfriend and I went there. Like we grew up in a sense there. Mm-hmm. Our daughters were born there. Like highs and lows, memories. Like life was lived there.
Mm-hmm.
Like lived. I very much feel that. So I absolutely have a soft spot there. And and guys like Quentin Nelson and Ryan Kelly, who's a free agent now, like Braden Smith, Jack Doyle played after. Like Jack Doyle's one of my favorite teammates ever. So of course root for those guys when things happen. And then watching the NFL for me now is who do I know on the team, if anybody, which gets fewer and fewer guys every year. And now it's more what coaches do I know that are coaching on the teams. And like, so this year it's like watching Zach Ertz play for Washington. It's like, I've known Zach since he was 17. I was 18. He's a year behind me in school. Like, we worked out together. I accidentally whacked. One time I was, we went through a phase where we were stretching with like those long wooden staffs, like, I don't know, like felt like a movie or something. And I was sitting there with it behind my back, and I turned and I just whipped it around and I whacked him right in the face. And Zach didn't beat me up, which was good. We always worked out together. But so like I root for him, for sure. And Tavita Pritchard's the quarterback coach in Washington, and Tavita and I were teammates. Like, so I root for him, of course. And then Nick Sirianni and Vic Fangio are on the Eagles. During their thing. So I try to root for them as well. It becomes like my fandom, like my team fandom is like soccer, U.S. national team. Like that's what I'll get fandom, or like watching Stanford men's hoops or women's hoops or any Stanford team. Like that's where I let myself just be a fan. Because it's fun to be a fan. Right. Like really fun to be a fan. But when watching NFL, it's more, hey, can my guys make it out healthy? Right. And can they go ball out and win?
Yeah. I love that. Yeah. I remember, I think it might have been right before the draft. You might have done like a walk and talk with Peter King at some point, and you fascinated him with your love of architecture. Are you still a big architecture guy?
Big architecture guy.
Yeah. So I have a tough architecture
Also,
question.
I grew up reading Peter King. Yeah. And like, so that was fun for me. Like I loved reading, I loved getting Sports Illustrateds. I loved reading like Rick Riley in the last page when I was doing that comment. Like I died for the Houston Chronicle in the mornings in Houston because Norman Chad had its syndicated column, like the nationally syndicated column there. Yeah. I felt like that type of humor hit me as whatever, a 15-year-old kid. So it was cool. Like those were pinch me moments in the NFL, like walking with Peter King.
So you guys were looking at the architect. Was that in Chicago?
I don't remember.
It might have been. But so he
great architecture boat tour here, by the way.
Great architecture boat tour. Yeah, how many times have you been on it?
2 times.
Yeah, nice. It's awesome. It's very fun. All right, so are you familiar with the premise FMK? Fuck, marry, kill. So you got to fuck one, you got to marry one, you got to kill one.
No.
And
he's going to short circuit again.
I'll listen to the question. I reserve the right to not answer a question.
Fuck, marry, kill, Doric columns, Ionian columns, Corinthian columns.
Ooh, good question.
I'm not answering it.
Can you rank them?
Yeah, I rank them.
Yeah, look, I want to, if I'm remembering correctly, the Corinthian column is a bit too flowery for my aesthetic taste. Doric has a level of simplicity and very much form is connected to function, which I find pleasing. And Ionics, it's cool, it's groovy.
Yeah, okay. I think that's fair. I think I would say marry Ionian. I think I would kill Doric, and then I would have sex with the Corinthian column.
That makes sense.
But you don't settle down.
That makes sense.
What are your thoughts on Soviet brutalism?
No positive thoughts.
Yeah.
Coach Gruden.
The Soviet brutalism is also inextricably linked to the use of concrete.
Yes.
So that's my thought.
It's like designed to kill your soul.
Right? Yeah. Coach Gruden actually said that he was shocked that you knew every part about cement. I don't know why that shocked him.
I went on a cement kick, read a book. I certainly did not know every part of cement.
He was just like, guy, he knows everything about cement. When I told him you were coming in, so I don't know. Do you still know everything about cement?
No, I never did, and certainly do not. But I do think what's fascinating about cement.
Let's go. Yeah. This is the good stuff.
I think they just realized they did just prove this. Like Roman stuff has stood for a long time, like way longer than the roads and bridges we've been building. Here in the world, not just here, but sort of here. And they realized that somehow, baked into the property of this, I'm going to mess this up. But when Roman cement fixes itself, when it cracks, like something about oxygen and water getting in activates like a self-healing mechanism. I think like researchers in Australia, I could be completely wrong in the language I'm using, but just Google it.
What else have you been reading about?
I've been on a sci-fi kick lately.
Oh,
Okay.
I think when I realized taking a job, being a general manager, like I'm using brain power again a lot. And,
Yeah.
and it's real stuff and et cetera. And so at the end of the nights, I like to read before going to bed. And I've been on the series, the Red Rising series of good sci-fi.
this is a book or a show?
It's a book.
Okay.
They'll make a show eventually.
Yeah.
And then
It
we'll
probably
watch
will
it,
happen.
and then
Yeah.
we'll say that we read it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you watch Severance?
Say it again.
Do you watch Severance?
I don't watch Severance.
You
I know
should.
I know what it is. Cool. That's the second person in the last 2 days to tell me about Jack Muhort, my old teammate in Indianapolis. I was talking to him because I'm going to Toledo and staying with him tomorrow.
Yeah.
So we were talking. He's like, he asked the same question.
Yes. Severance is very
show.
good.
But you're reminding me of we had a Game of Thrones book club in our Stanford locker room back in the day. We would get into there were 4 or 5 of us, myself included, that when I read, are you Game of Thrones people?
I've
watched
seen
the
it,
show, yeah.
Okay. When the red wedding scene came up in book whatever, I want to say 3, and I read it and stormed into the locker room like very emotionally shook by this thing. And we had it turned out that all of us were in the shower yelling about Game of Thrones at the time, like, the whole thing. And a few people walked in and like, what the heck are these guys doing? And so I felt like the cool kid when the world was freaking out about the Red Wedding episode. I was like, nah, you don't know about everybody who already knows about this.
Yeah.
Who's had years to emotionally process what just happened. We were ahead of you guys. All of y'all. We are ahead.
That's
Did
incredible.
you find yourself ready for it when it came out?
The show?
Yeah. When the Red Wedding specifically happened.
Well, I didn't really watch the show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
I read the books.
Yeah, you're like, I already know.
I mean, I
everything.
picked episodes here and there, just, whatever is cool.
Yeah. Well, in fact, I'm going to start reading I'm going to read one book about cement this year. I'm writing.
You don't
it
have
down.
to do that to yourself.
I'm not. I'll read a Twitter thread.
Yeah,
If I can find
that's
one,
a good point.
a good
One
Twitter
book about
thread.
cement.
Just really break down that. So wait, American soccer, real quick. Are we going to win the World Cup?
Oh, yeah. You
We
better.
are?
Why not?
Do you think we would be better if we had like LeBron, Wemby, Luka on the team?
Not Luka and Wemby because they
No,
represent
they would
other
be.
countries.
No, they
Big
would be
time.
on our
You're
team.
better than that.
They would be on our team.
You're better than that.
Joel Embiid. Embiid, he's
Embiid.
American.
Oh, yeah.
Shake SGA playing.
I have no idea
Okay.
if we would be better or not.
The answer is yes. if we just put our
Jaden Daniels.
best,
He'd be so good.
our best players. No, we just do that to troll and get people upset.
OBJ was an incredible soccer player, I want to say.
I believe it. So wait, we're not going to win anything though.
I'm so hopeful. I'm eternally optimistic as a U.S. soccer fan. The World Cup's going to be here and in Mexico and Canada. And yeah, it's fun to be a fan. It's fun to be a fan of your national team.
Yeah.
Like
It's fun to win though.
also
and I
like
wish
being
we'd
at
win.
I got to go to the Olympics. My wife's a producer for gymnastics on television, so she was working and I was just like having the time of my life, rooting for Americans. Bringing my daughters to stuff and having there were like 59 Stanford athletes there, including like friends of ours that we were freshmen together, like Katerina Stefanidi or Eric Shoji. It's amazing. Like watching Katie Ledecky swim, it was so cool. It's fun to root for America in sports. It's really fun. Really, really, really fun. I enjoyed that a lot. And my wife, but she stole the tickets to the women's gold medal match, soccer. So she got to go with her friends, and that's the one thing I was jealous of her about from that trip. She got to go to that gold medal match with the women and watch us win.
Yeah. By the way,
We love winners here.
We love
just
winners.
love
We
winners
love
in
winners.
America.
And I'll tell you what, the roster that we have right now, I've been telling Big Cat this for the last 2 years. Going into this World Cup, that is the best roster that the U.S. will have ever had at that point. Just looking at the players that play competitively overseas, that's as talented as we've ever been, I think. And if we're gonna do it, it's gonna be at home in this World Cup. So get all in right now on U.S. soccer.
I'm with you. Get all in. I maybe I don't have as deep a perspective as you, PFT.
No, I just gave you everything I know.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Well, I like it. I'm all in, and I do think it seems like at scale we have a lot of guys competing in really important places around the world, and the MLS is stronger than it's ever been. Like our domestic game is stronger than it's ever been. So.
And I'm thinking maybe our new coach, he's very close with Messi. Why not just have Messi become a U.S. citizen?
yeah.
I mean, it doesn't work like that though.
No, it does.
He's already cap tied to Argentina.
You can do whatever you
No,
want.
you can't. You
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
do it.
Cap-tied,
Not in
that's
soccer.
a-
It's just talking
cap tied.
Oh, he's cap tied? Oh, no. We can't figure out a way around that. No.
By the way, 20
FIFA would never allow something illegal to happen. That's not a problem that money can fix.
2014 USC versus Stanford, 4th and 13 at the USC 32 punt, and then 4th and 22 at the USC 29 punt for a touchback. That's a 9-yard punt.
So I don't think we'll ever get Messi on the U.S. roster, and I'm very excited. And I'm very excited for the World Cup.
You get this show now.
Anytime
you get this show.
Anytime we talk about soccer, one of the things I was stoked about when I was still playing professionally, and I was in Europe for something in the offseason. I was like, I gotta go see Christian Pulisic play.
Yeah.
He was still playing for Borussia Dortmund, so I hopped in the car. I was in Amsterdam, and I drove over, and I reached out to his agent, so I got to watch the game. Unfortunately, he maybe even played like 10 minutes at the end of the game. It was like versus Hoffenheim or someone, I want to say. But I got to have pizza with Christian afterwards. And I'm a fan.
Yeah.
He's younger, but I'm a fan. He's a cool dude, so I'm stoked for what he's doing right now.
Yeah.
And then I hope somehow, some way, we channel the attitude that Clint Dempsey brought to the soccer team.
Yep.
And to just sports in general, because that dude was so fun to watch. I loved watching him from like East Texas. It was an amazing story, and he was tough. And one of my favorite quotes, like sport quotes all time, was Bruce Arena when he was the men's national team coach at this point, asked about like what made Clint different or special. Mm-hmm. He was like, because he tries shit, and like Clint did. Mm-hmm. And he was so fun to watch. So
he was never scared.
No, never scared. Like all those clips of him watching the clips now, they're on the internets and the YouTubes and such. But like watching him play, that was an attitude that I think resonated with a lot of us watching.
You need a guy like that to beat Mexico. That's not afraid of Mexico. And he was the best. Maybe Joe Scally's our guy.
You think so?
He's one of the defenders on the team. He's one of our security guys' nephews.
Yeah.
Really?
Which
Long
is pretty
Island,
cool.
or Staten Island.
Staten Island
cool.
guy. We need some like Staten Island tough guy on our team.
East Texas or Staten Island,
Yeah.
one of the two.
4th and 11 from the Cal 34. 10 minutes left in the game. Punt.
I mean, you're not going to beat the 29.
29 is crazy.
Yeah. That's like a piece of art. Okay, I have a serious question for you.
Oh.
Hypothetically, the Colts make it to the Super Bowl, but Anthony Richardson and Joe Flacco both get mono. Mm-hmm. And they can't play.
Yeah,
they weren't kissing each other.
Was freshman year of college?
They're kissing somebody else.
Yeah.
And you get a call. Andrew, can you play in the Super Bowl for us? You don't even have to practice. You probably want to practice. You have to practice 3 days and then play in the Super Bowl. What do you say?
No, thank you. Appreciate it. And I'll say what, that's cheap. That's not. You gotta go all season. You gotta practice. You gotta earn it.
You gotta earn that.
You gotta earn it.
Yeah.
What if?
I'd be hyped for the Colts though if they're there.
What if Jim Irsay calls you up? He's like, "Hey, we got this new technology. We're turning injuries off for an entire season. Would you come back and play? Injuries off. You literally cannot get injured."
No, I'd ask to be able to invest in the technology.
Okay, all right, that's actually a
smart answer.
We need to get this technology.
Did Jim Irsay ever show you his guitar collection?
His guitar collection's sweet.
Yes,
it seems.
And like I grew up listening to classic rock because my dad's a classic rockophile. You know, like the first concert my dad took me to was ZZ Top in Houston, which is like, yeah, it's a great gateway concert into live shows. It's amazing. And then went to Springsteen. We actually came to Chicago one year to see the Stones at whatever the basketball arena is.
United Center.
Yeah. And so like going into his office, he does have an incredible guitar collection. And then when you go to Stanford, you realize the Grateful Dead is a thing, and like and Jerry Garcia, and so and we have friends that are Deadheads, and like the Dead used to do impromptu shows on campus back in the day. Like there's a whole culture in Palo Alto around the Grateful Dead. Yeah. So to seeing like a Jerry Garcia guitar actually meant a little bit of something to me. Yeah. And the Beatles drum set.
Yeah, he's got it all.
It's cool.
He's convinced, and I think he's convinced me that the technology will exist one day to extract all the sounds that have ever been played out of an instrument, just have it play. I guess the best way to say it is he believes that if you buy a guitar from Eric Clapton, somewhere in that wood it's the actual music and the actual notes that were once played, and eventually we'll be able to hook a machine up to it and get that exact sound out of the guitar. Do you believe that?
Cool.
Yeah,
I believe it.
I believe it. If he believes it, I believe it.
Things I don't understand, I just believe.
Yeah.
It's a good default. Big Cat.
Yeah. It's like, all right, that sounds cool.
Healthy way to live life.
Yeah.
I mean, would you rather that technology existed? I would.
Yeah.
I would choose to live in that world.
Absolutely. Well,
this conversation is devolving.
yeah, oh yeah, it always does. This has been so awesome, though. We really appreciate it. I have one last question for you. It's a Roback question. RHOBACK.com, promo code TAKE. 20% off your first purchase. Q-zips, polos, hoodies, joggers, shorts. Roback.com, promo code TAKE. Go right now. Huddle hoodie is the new one that I love. Roback.com, promo code TAKE.
You did that so well. Stop.
I do it every time.
That was wow.
We have a Roback question to finish every interview. Shout out Roback, our wonderful sponsor. Is
Again,
there one
so well done?
Is there one pass that you think of? You're like, yeah, that was it. That was it. Like, remember me for this one pass, this one play.
Remember me for
Yes.
this.
No, but I would assume like there's one that you could think of. Like, man, did I absolutely fucking crush that?
It's funny to think of interceptions I've thrown more than I think of like sweet tutters.
Right.
Have come. No, I'll be honest. Part of what was so fun, Frank Reich asked me this, like, what do you love about football? We were sitting talking once before I retired. I said, like, dude, I get to throw the ball to my friends. Like,
Yeah.
like
You're
that's
playing catch. Yeah.
like, it's really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and so there is not one throw. There's not one throw to rule them all. But like throwing to T.Y. Hilton and Jack Doyle and had an amazing year with, Eric Ebron had this. We had an incredible year together, and Kobe Fleener and Griff. Like I got to play in the NFL with my college roommate Griff Whalen, and he cut touchdowns. Like he ran a bang 8 on a skinny post. I think on one of the Texans corners in the big game. Like this is an undrafted guy, a walk-on receiver who's playing. Like that's awesome. Kobe Fleener and I played together in college. So I feel very fortunate that I got to throw the football to my friends. And especially T.Y. Hilton. Like I'll say this again. I don't think it's fun to play with a guy who's different, and he was different.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure he gets the respect he deserves for what he did on the football field.
I'd agree with that.
He brought an attitude that was just awesome, and like we probably couldn't have come from two different places, but like it's part of what's amazing about sports and football in particular. I know this is an unserious podcast, but I will be serious. Like I get like we're friends,
Right.
I don't get that otherwise,
Right.
Like that, my life is like way better for that, and that's just one micro. I got to play with Frank Gore, who's awesome, by the way.
Yeah.
Like no one knew pass protection better than Frank Gore. The dude got football like. He would pick stuff out before I would pick it out. He'd start yelling at the lineman about what technique to use. Like he is the teach tape on how to be a pass protecting running back, and he's also the teach tape on how to be a gap scheme running back. Like the dude was unbelievable. I got to play with Ahmad Brashaw from Bluefield, West Virginia.
Yeah,
right. Like he's a dog and tough. He caught 8 touchdown passes one year. Like that. That part of football, I think, I say grateful. Like, yeah, I got paid and I get to make choices in life that I know others don't. I get privilege and it's amazing. But like, it's more that like I got to play football. I got to throw a ball to my friends and like nerd out over snap. Like, who gets to like? A portion of my salary went to finding a better snap count. Yeah, I got paid to sit in a room and then go out to practice and think about and talk to left tackles and guys. All right, this week, guys, we're going to use black as the color. That's the live color. We're going to do a triple count. We're going to say it 3 times. We're going to go, so go, hot, and then I'm going to go kill, because last week we did kill, and we ran the ball, and then we're going to red 80, red 80, hot, and then we're going to go black 80, like.
Yeah.
It was awesome. Are you kidding? What type of life is that?
That is awesome.
And now I get to be back in football in a different capacity with Stanford at an alma mater that I love, and people are counting us out, and they're wrong to count us out.
Yeah.
So get on early, just like the U.S. national team.
Yeah. Now's the time.
And this interview has been everything we wanted for, it's been a 7-year wait, and I want to say that this has been so awesome to have you here. And also you're making us better podcasters because you got a little emotional there, and you mentioned Frank Gore, and I didn't mention the fact that he has enormous balls, and I used to take videos of him running without any type of underwear on. His balls would be flopping everywhere.
Big Cat would have done that.
I was this close to saying it, but I was like, you know what? Let me let Andrew finish his moment. So thank you for making us better.
That's good discipline.
Yeah,
Cat. I'm really proud of you.
If they zoom in on my face, I was just like,
I'm really proud of you.
say Frank Gore has huge balls.
they're
Look at this. Look at the picture. Look how big his balls are. That's insane. I think you get the show now.
If there's not one pass to remember you by, what about a half? What about that playoff game against Kansas City?
Yeah.
How cool was that?
We've had some good halves like that. Also been part of some bad halves.
Yeah.
Some of them in New England.
But how fun was that? How fun was
that was
half?
cool. Actually, Alex and I were talking about Alex Smith's awesome, by the way. I mean, like, you want a role model in life, like that dude is cool. But we were talking about that recently. We live not too far from each other and get to run into each other every now and then. And that one, I was glad to be on the other side of it. The ball bounced our way. I think they lost like 4 guys in the secondary throughout the game, right? So like we were rolling. But I do remember one play from that game. We were in a timeout, and we had Fleener, T.Y., and another receiver, I wasn't sure who, ready to go. I don't know what down and distances was, but we were sitting there. Pep and I were talking. Pep Hamilton, OC at the time. We were sitting there like, let's switch, Originally, Kobe was supposed to run a clear out post, and T.Y. was going to get the corner. And then it was like, I think one of us or either T.Y. was like, they can't run with him right now. Like they just can't run with T.Y. Hilton. Right. So let's put T.Y. on the post and Kobe on the corner. So we came out of the timeout. We did it. I remember looking in the huddle at T.Y. And saying something like, "Run, motherfucker! Like run! Right. You're gonna get it! Like you're gonna get it!" And Bruce Arians used to just call T.Y. little motherfucker, come on, little motherfucker, come on. It's all the time. And is that what cussing on podcast feels like? That's a good feeling. But so he did. He ran. And he took the top off, and the ball, and we, protected it up, and the ball made it there, and he scored. But it was fun to feel like the first half was everything could go wrong, and the second half was sort of everything was just going right.
It was an awesome game.
It was a great game.
It was an awesome game. Well, Andrew, thank you so much, man. We really appreciate it. You're a recurring guest now, so you have to come on anytime we ask. I don't know if you knew that. You didn't read the fine print for that.
That's right. You're Stanford fans now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Listen. When you want to, when we want to push Stanford, because little old Stanford needs some NIL money, we'll help you. Stanford doesn't need anything. You guys got it. Turn that fire hose on.
All right, me and Big Cat, we're also thinking about, as quarterbacks, we want to start a company that just need one drop of blood, and then you could examine that, and then you could change the world. Do you have contacts that can help us?
There's old Theranos office space.
Yeah,
I think that's available.
Okay.
Okay,
so,
good.
We're in.
Good. Let's do it. Yep.
We're in. We'll come play quarterback.
No, good luck. We'll be rooting for you.
Yeah, we will.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun when Stanford gets in the mix. I mean, your guys' teams with Harbaugh it was fun just watching you, especially like watching Pete Carroll be like, this isn't supposed to be happening. Like Stanford's not supposed to beat us. Like it was just fun to watch. So
I had fun watching Stanford after too. Watching Christian McCaffrey and Bryce Love on Coach Shaw's teams, and we'll get there.
Yeah,
great mascot too.
Yeah, great.
The best,
mascot.
the tree.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Andrew. Appreciate it, man.
My pleasure.
Andrew Luck was brought to you by Dove Men's. As you prepare to host your big game celebrations, what are some possible whole body odor related issues that you might encounter that might make you feel a little less confident in your hosting duties? Maybe taking your shoes off. Maybe you're afraid that your feet stink. Maybe sitting down on the couch next to somebody that you kind of know but don't really know that well. You sit down, you catch a whiff, and for a second you think to yourself, is that me? That can't be me. Well, you can tackle whole body odor with Dove Men Plus Care Whole Body Deo. If you're afraid to take your shoes off when you're going to your friend's house, if you're getting nervous that your team's down at halftime, you think you might be stinking a little bit, we'll tackle whole body odor with Dove Men Plus Care Whole Body Deo. This whole body deo defends against all your odor zones from pits, privates to feet, and it's long-lasting with 72-hour odor protection. Find Dove Men Whole Body Deo at Walmart today. Spray up.
I'm spray right now.
Spray up. It actually smells really good in the studio right now. Might be because it is Sunday night and we haven't lived in here all week yet. Mm-hmm. But my money's on it coming from Dove Men's and their whole body deo. And now, here is our good friend, Brian Windhorst.
Okay, we now welcome on our very, very good friend. It is Brian Windhorst. He is an insider. You can see him on ESPN. You can listen to the Hoop Collective, a great, great podcast, all things NBA. Windy. We hit the Windy bat phone. Basically was like, hey, can you please come on for 10 minutes to tell us what's going on? You have not slept. You're all the way in LA now. What the hell's going on?
Kat, in my career, never have I had my phone go crazy like this. I'm talking about players, head coaches, assistant coaches, executives, referees, agents, lawyers, workout guys, and they all had the exact same question. We don't understand. What don't we understand? What's going on? And I don't have a great answer. This is one of the most shocking transactions I can't speak to the NHL or whatever. It's one of the most shocking transactions in American sports history. Yeah. For the magnitude and the way it came out of the blue.
Yeah. So let's talk about that part first. So this shocked everyone. So were the Mavs they weren't shopping Luka. They just did a deal with the Lakers. Is that correct to say?
Yeah, so as far as I understand, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't have the full 360 of this yet. I'm trying, but picture this like you had a really nice house, all right, and you wanted to sell the house. How would you go about that? Would you put it on the market to get a lot of offers? Probably. And let's say you had somebody that you specifically wanted to sell it to. You wouldn't sell it to that person for a discount, because if you're going to buy something off market, if it's something of high quality, which Luka Doncic certainly is, you have to overpay for it. Like if I'm going to keep this off the market, you got to pay me like everything I want. So think of Luka like a super nice beachfront house, but that's not what happened here. This was a pocket sale that went down where they got a discount. The Lakers got a discount. And that's not to put down Anthony Davis, but Luka is a 25-year-old not even in his prime yet, megastar. I mean, Luka Doncic has made more first-team All-NBAs than Steph Curry has.
Yeah.
Okay? So the fact that this trade would happen, that they would trade a 25-year-old in their own conference, where if this goes sideways, they could be beat over the head with this for the next decade, to do it, clandestinely where it doesn't hit the open market, and to do it like in this nature is just absolutely, nobody can get their mind around it.
Yeah. I've seen some people say that the Mavs are in win now mode. They were already winning now. I don't understand what addition, how is this going to help them win now more than Luka would?
Basically, they're like, okay, we're not going to take the 25-year-old with warts, definitely has issues, definitely could hold him back, like no doubt about it. But they're basically like, okay, we're going to take the 31-year-old and the 33-year-old or whatever, Kyrie's 33 or 34, and we're going to say that's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
And who knows what they could have gotten if it was on the open market? Like, there's some teams out there that are holding enormous amounts of draft picks. So granted, you wouldn't have Anthony Davis, but Mikal Bridges got 5 first-round picks. Mikal Bridges never been an all-star. Mm-hmm. Luka has been first-team All-NBA 5 times. He's 25.
Right. Mm-hmm. It's shocking.
And then the one piece that nobody's talking about, the Utah Jazz were involved in this trade. Why was that?
Oh.
Can you imagine? This is what I'm thinking. Justin Zanuck and Danny Ainge. Can you imagine they get a phone call in the last couple of days? Hey, we need you to take on a salary as part of a deal. Okay. Who's it going to be? Jalen Hood-Schifino. Okay, maybe we'll do it for a second-round pick. What's the trade? Oh, it's Luka Doncic for Anthony Davis. I'm sorry. What did you just say? Like, the Jazz is rolled in the situation. Like, they must have been. Can you imagine them on these conference calls?
Yeah.
I would pay good money to see the video of them listening to the conference call going, do you believe this? Like, they're putting it on mute. They're going to do it. Can you believe they're actually going to do it? They're going to give Luka to the Lakers. Yeah, we'll take the 20-25 second. Yeah, okay, back on mute. Oh my God, I can't believe this. Like, this is unbelievable. I can't even imagine what it was like in the Jazz offices the last couple of days.
Yeah, and the Luka, like, personally, he had to have been shocked. He also loses out on the Supermax. So how much money does he end up losing, because he can't now sign a Supermax with the Lakers? He could have with the Mavs. How much money does he end up losing out on?
It might be $100 million.
Jesus.
So I'm not Bobby Marks. I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but here's the thing. When you Supermax means you get 5% more of the cap per year. It's worth something like 70 or 80 million. The difference between getting the Supermax or not the Supermax at Luka's spot. So part of that is an extra year that you get, which would be at like 50, 60 million. He's eventually going to play that year and get money. But he also is, when you build your next contract off, you're building it off a lower contract. So that's a lot of mumbo jumbo. It's tens and tens and tens of millions. Plus, he plays in Texas right now. For like half or so of his games, he pays no state tax. Now he goes to California where he's going to pay 14% state tax for, almost all of his games, most of his home games and all those games in California. It's going to cost him millions of dollars a year in state tax. Now, I'm not saying like that is why that makes a big difference, but you tack all that on, it's potentially $100 million, slap in the face to this guy who thought he was going to be a Maverick for a long time.
Yeah. So was there any inkling that the Mavs were thinking about, like, was there any, like, just through sourcing, like Luka is not happy or the Mavs aren't happy? So it was really as shocking could be.
I mean, I think the Mavs are frustrated, have been frustrated with him. I mean, he's a guy who frustrates you. He's also a guy who's so amazing, you live with it. And certainly at age 25, I mean, maybe in a couple of years, if the things weren't working out, if he had a couple more, pouting sessions where he killed them in the playoffs, but age 25, if there was a reason why this happened, like a precipitating event, maybe that is true. I don't know it. And I'll say something else. There's people that have been trying to figure out, like, well, why did the Lakers do it? Was there like an issue with AD and JJ Redick? Was there an issue with AD and LeBron? The Lakers did it because they got Luka Doncic.
Right.
The end.
Right.
The end. I know that they were probably annoyed that AD did that interview with Shams Charania the other day where he was like, get me a center. I'm sure that didn't make the Lakers weak. But they did this because of Luka Doncic. That's why they did it.
They have now a succession plan for LeBron. Now, how does LeBron work into this where it's like, does LeBron say, from a basketball fit, I don't know how much it fits, but you just figure that out later because it's Luka and you just go get him, like you said. But is this LeBron like, hey, I'm going to play for 3 more years now because I got Luka with me?
Yeah, so we're waiting to hear on that. So I'm not going to speculate on that. I do know that LeBron has an incredible affinity for Luka. He's loved him for a long time. There's some, he's tried to get into business with him at different occasions. They actually, I think, fit together beautifully because you can take the stress off of LeBron having to play so much point guard, but they can kind of play together. I could see LeBron being like, this could help me extend my career, because one of the things that's happened over the last few years is LeBron has wanted Anthony Davis to take on more of a role. He's really been like pushing that and supporting that, not just because Anthony Davis is a really good player, but because LeBron's like, I can't carry this load. Mm-hmm. So I could see LeBron saying, I'm bought in here. I could also see teams calling the Lakers and saying, hey, you just picked up a 25-year-old. Do you want to offload your 40-year-old? Now, LeBron has a no trade clause, but I could see those calls coming. I will say this, though. The Lakers roster is now lopsided. They have no starting quality center. Their best center right now is Jackson Hayes. So they got to find a trade between now and Thursday where they get some sort of center. Also, Austin Reeves, I'm not sure how he fits. This is actually one of the amazing things about this trade is that the Lakers did this deal and somehow are still holding a first-round pick, 2031, and holding Austin Reeves.
Yeah.
Nobody understands that, but they still have those two things. And maybe there's a world where Austin Reeves stays. Reeves is having a great year, but Reeves is only really successful when he has the ball.
Right.
And now he's going to be down the line. So we'll see what happens. That may not be something that happens till later. They may try it out, but they now have too many ball handlers. They have no perimeter defense and no rim protection. So the Lakers have been on this. They've won 8 out of 10. They've been playing really good. Now their team's a little lopsided. So Lakers are going to have to make some more moves, and either by Thursday or certainly by the summer.
Yeah.
Very important question. Who gets the last shot?
That's the most important question.
Yes.
Like,
one shot.
Let's open first take with that.
One shot.
I'm going to speak to Mr. Smith about setting that up.
One shot. And if it's not LeBron, will LeBron be happy that he's not getting the last shot?
I think, in all honesty, I think you want the ball in Luka's hands.
Yeah.
I think LeBron would agree with that.
Do you think is there another domino that's about to fall? I feel like there has to be, right?
No, definitely. I mean, there's going to be. I kind of wonder. You know how in college, so right now there's like all these sort of large contract players that are sort of just dangling on the market. Zach LaVine, Brandon Ingram, Jimmy Butler, De'Aaron Fox. I feel like this could be like, you know how when the conferences in college like realign, like there's all this sort of tension, and then like one conference makes a move, and then there's like 17 other conferences, and next thing you know, Boise State is in the ACC. That is what could happen here. Not for sure, but there's been sort of pent up stuff. This could be a cascading thing that ends up leading to some major movement by Thursday. We thought this was going to be a quiet deadline. We should have known better.
Yeah. What if Rob Pelinka last night, he's doing this deal, and the Mavs say, we're ready to do this deal, but we demand Bronny. Does he still do the deal?
Big Cat, that is an amazing question.
Thank you. Thank you.
Here's the thing. Like, I actually believe that LeBron didn't know. I know people don't believe that. But I think the reason they didn't, I think they don't tell LeBron because they don't want it on LeBron. He's got to make a decision on AD or not.
Right.
I don't think they want that. So, but it would have been fascinating if they were like, we got to have Bronny. We need some minutes at the backup wing. They would have to go to LeBron. And I got to believe that LeBron would say, send us Luka.
Oh, man.
But that is remarkable.
Yeah.
Fascinating. All right, one last question for you, Woody. Gun to your head, where does Jimmy Butler end up?
Guys, I'm not sure he's getting traded.
Wow.
I think it's either going to be Phoenix or Golden State. But Phoenix can't seem to find a home for Bradley Beal. And they've been trying for 6 weeks, and I don't know if that's going to happen the next 4 days. And the Warriors have other options. And, I think if it happens, I think Golden State is more likely than Phoenix. But I got to tell you something. The easiest way you can look like a fool right now is to try to predict this trade deadline. The prediction for the trade deadline, that business is over because nobody saw this one coming.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, Wendy, I got one last question. Rowback question. RHOBACK.com. Promo code TAKE. 20% off your first purchase. Q-zips, polos, hoodies, joggers, shorts. Rowback.com. Promo code TAKE. What do we say to Mavs fans? Because I feel very bad for Mavs fans. They woke up. They thought, you got a guy like Luka. He's 25. We know what the NBA is. You need a top 5 player to win a championship. They had Luka in their minds for the next decade, and then they wake up and Luka's not there anymore. What happened? Like, I don't even know how the fan base reacts to something like this.
The only thing I can say is that when Nico Harrison, their GM, did the Kyrie Irving deal 2 years ago, I thought it was a terrible mistake. I thought that would not work. I did not think Nico made a smart move. I told this to him to his face. I saw him a few days after the deal, and I said, good luck with this one, because Kyrie's situation in Brooklyn had gone so poorly. And Nico knew what he was doing. Nico was previously at Nike for 20 years. His number one client was Kobe Bryant. By the way, his agent was Rob Pelinka. I think that might have had something to do with, there's a relationship that goes back 20 years with Rob Pelinka. I'll do it for sure. They first started doing business together in 2003 when Kobe came from Adidas to Nike, which in today's day and age would be a massive story. Back then was like Sports Business Journal. But Nico, when he did that deal with Kyrie Irving, he's like, this is what I think our team needs. I believe in it. I thought it was a mistake. It's turned out to be a genius move. It's totally transformed the franchise. So I will just say, while I don't understand this, and I think this is potentially a catastrophic mistake, Nico Harrison has got some capital with the Mavs fans, but my God, if Luka turns into this, if this pushes him into like focusing on the right things and getting rid of some of his bad habits, and the Lakers have another era, and Luka has a statue outside crypto, and Luka puts up more banners, Nico Harrison will live in infamy. And that is on the table right now.
It is absolutely on the table.
What were those business deals that you were talking about with Luka and LeBron?
So LeBron really wanted Luka to be in his shoe brand at Nike. LeBron hasn't had guys like that. It's not been like Jordan where like guys wore his shoe. And he wanted Luka to be the first guy to like be in the LeBron shoe. And he like recruited him and everything and ended up going with Jordan. And I'm sure Nike made that choice as well. But like he really, really wanted him to be in there. And then of course he drafted him in the draft in the All-Star draft. But he drafted a bunch of guys in the All-Star draft. Half of them he's gotten on his team, half of them he hasn't. So I'm not sure what to make of that.
All right. Well, Windy, you're the best. Thank you for picking up the bat phone. Get some sleep. And we'll talk to you.
Hey, enjoy the Super Bowl, guys.
Yeah.
Thank
you. Thank you. We're off right now.
All
we
right.
got a flight right now. So thank you
Take
so
care.
much.
Wendy was brought to you by Chevy. Chevy has packed more capability into the Silverado Trail Boss so that you can pack more fun into your weekend. Have yourself a Friday, a Saturday, and Sunday Funyay, with a truck that says no to nothing. Tailgates, spontaneous camping trips, DIY projects, bring it on. What about a cross-country road trip? Silverado was the perfect ride for last year's Grit Week out west, and recently they helped us give fullbacks the recognition they deserve with the Lowman Award going to Tyler Crow of Boise State. Well, the Silverado Trail Boss is built like a fullback. We're talking 495 foot-pounds of torque. Hold on to those sodas, Max. Plus, the Trail Boss gives you an extra 2-inch lift, so maybe Hank can finally dunk. Silverado brings the grit, then pairs it with the latest truck tech inside and out. The result, a truck that can do it all. Then show up on Monday with a story to tell. Check out the Silverado Trail Boss at Chevy.com. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Okay. Let's wrap up. We got two things we got to do. We got to do Monday reading. And Max, you want to, while PFT pulls up the Monday reading, we were going to do this every single day, every single show this week, score prediction for the Super Bowl. And you're allowed to change it however you feel. Like if you're not feeling super confident right now, and then by Friday, you finally put on some Eagles gear and you feel confident, you can change it.
Right now, I'm going to go 32-24 Eagles.
32? How'd you get to 32?
Couple 2-point conversions.
Okay. Couple of them?
Maybe none of them.
Is that a missed extra point in there? 2 missed extra
Maybe
points?
it's 4 touchdowns, all with 2-point conversions.
Tush pushes all of them.
4 touchdowns to all 2-point conversions. Okay.
And do you think
That's
that the
32?
Chiefs get there? You said 24, right?
24.
Is
24.
that like backdoor 24? Like
Yeah,
you're
were
smoking
were they
them?
leading?
They're up 30. They're up 32-21 with 5 minutes to go.
But I thought your final score was
32-24.
32-24.
Okay.
So
And
the
then
Chiefs
they
get-
get a field goal to make it a 1-possession game.
Okay.
And then they don't get the ball.
They don't get the ball
back.
Wow. What was the halftime score?
17-10.
Wait, no, I thought it was.
I don't know.
I thought it was
They can't get 17-10 if they.
16-10.
Okay, yep.
16-10. 2 touchdowns, 2-point conversions.
I don't know how I get to 21 though.
What's the best commercial?
16-7.
No, 16-10, and then the Chiefs are like, oh, we got to start going for 2.
Yeah,
So
right,
then
right,
it's
right, right, right.
24-18. Then it's field goal.
I have it all thought
touchdown.
out.
Yeah.
Don't worry
Okay.
about it.
All right. So
Yeah, do
Monday
this
reading.
really nice Monday reading.
What is it about, PFT?
Monday, well, it's the time capsule. It's,
Oh, yeah.
It's the part of my take
Do
time
this every
capsule.
Super Bowl.
What?
We do this every Super Bowl.
Every Super Bowl,
We
yeah.
actually do.
Yeah, so we're going to flash back a random moment in part of my take history.
Okay. I
This-
hope you do a Super Bowl week moment.
It actually is.
Oh, wow.
So it's exactly 1 year ago today.
Wow.
On the Sunday that we were flying out to Las Vegas. Remember, we landed and Adam Schefter tweeted out that thing about the Commanders have arrived at the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That whole thing. We're recording. We're watching the Grammys. Miley Cyrus looked fantastic. And I get a text because I took a picture of Miley Cyrus on the TV. And Max was actually in the picture that I took, and I tweeted it out. And I got a text from our good friend from the Diana Rossini show, Diana Rossini, the co-host of Diana Rossini. And she said,
I know. I don't like listening to this.
"Does Max live in New York?" And I said, "Max who?" I sat next to a guy in a plane who is really big. Is Max big? Whoever you just posted a picture of. Ha ha ha, yes, he was in New York this weekend. She says, he's disgusting. He ate his food on the plane like a monster, was basically breathing heavy and smelled terrible. Don't tell him I said it, but I was so grossed out. And then I sent her a picture, this picture right here of Max. So that, was this the guy? It's Max wearing his Sixers shirt. Ask him if he sat aisle row. If so, he farted during his naps. It was United Business. He sat right next to me, ripping them during the nap with, I think, 6 or 7 peas there. He is one of the most disgusting human beings I've ever sat next to. Ask him if he scarfed some burrito sandwich before we took off. I said, yeah, it's him. And she says, he's definitely single. Parentheses, cute face, by the way.
Ooh.
What a nice thing to say.
Cute face.
Cute face.
Cute face.
Cute face, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He
I
was
heard-
completely in his own world.
No, I
He
thought-
smelled of hungover. He's also very unhealthy. 2 sodas. Did you write this down or something? Amazing level of detail, I asked her. She says, no, I observed. I was so grossed out and bothered.
God damn it! I thought it was done. The people get the point.
I said,
2 sodas.
I said, you're a great reporter. She said, thank you. He listens to his music way too loudly. I'm very concerned about Max's overall health. He's going to die by 25. He was blasting techno.
He's 29 right now.
He just farted and
Yeah,
belched.
proved her wrong.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't want to be mean-spirited, but I change poopy diapers 6 to 8 times a day.
She needs
and
to
his
relax.
farts smelled like my kid's diaper genie. I recently read about a guy who got kicked off a plane for farting so much, and I texted my husband and said, I want this guy kicked off. Swear to God. So that was a year ago today, and now you guys are the best of friends.
That made me want to hate her again.
Oh, that's the best.
Cute face, by the way.
Yeah. Time capsule. Monday reading time capsule.
We always do that.
We always.
We
It
literally
is a yearly
always do
tradition.
that.
It's a yearly tradition.
And I think we'll
Can't wait for
probably.
next year.
I wonder what we're going to do for next year's.
Oh my God. Ripping farts.
I don't
Disgusting
think I
human
was.
being.
I don't think I was ripping for it.
One thing
listen,
I
you-
noticed
yeah.
about Max on today's plane ride, when he falls asleep, he tucks his arms, he pulls his arms all the way inside of his sleeves and then wraps them around his stomach inside of his shirt. So he's like hugging himself with just these loose arm sleeves hanging off to the side. It's very bizarre.
Well, that was on a plane. It was a little chilly. It's almost like a blanket if you do
Yeah.
it like that.
Yeah. Hank took a nice nap. Got a little cranky when he woke up.
I was
We had to
so
play the
scared
game
to
of like
wake you
who's
up.
going to wake Hank up. Because it's going to be.
And it just had to be me.
Yeah.
Hank, do you want to educate the people on some of the stuff that you were saying?
No,
Come on.
Just a little bit.
no.
But all this stuff keeps happening.
Listen, there's a lot of things going on in the world. And
Why aren't we talking about the bridge?
People moved on from the bridge. Listen, we're in New Orleans. People moved on from New Orleans. It's a serious subject. You guys are trying to make light of it. I was just trying to, have some playful banter on the plane.
What should we bring up the bridge in New Orleans like every episode?
No, it's just it's not. It wasn't you guys specifically. I didn't say we should be talking about it on the show,
We're
but
part of the media.
As we reminded Hank of all these
the
things that we're talking about.
underwater volcano and the dolphins.
Yep. Dolphins are swimming away.
That's not a conspiracy.
Volcanoes do go off.
Underwater volcanoes.
Yeah.
I think it goes off once every 50 years.
Probably going to be an earthquake. Are you going to think that's related
Well, yeah.
to the bridge?
No. You guys are trying to paint me and label me crazy and put this narrative out there, and that's fine.
No, Hank,
just
Hank
like
does
you-
think that we're part of the problem.
Oh, yeah.
You're a
He's like-
simulation boy. You're
Oh,
fucking.
when I told Hank, I was like, the
Neo.
reason why we don't think about these things is because life's hard enough and you just gotta kind of move on and keep it moving. And he just looked at me like, you fuck it, you're part of the problem. Yeah. Okay, good show, boys.
Yeah, Hank, National Sports Podcast. Use your voice.
Yeah.
Sports podcast.
Speak up.
Sports.
And Bridge.
We got a big week in NOLA. Big week in NOLA. How many gumbos so far?
I just had one.
Just one?
But I'm about to
We're
have
going for a
two.
nightcap.
Okay, nightcap. I'm gonna end up having 2 today as well. We should get a total gumbo for the whole crew. For the 4 of us, how many gumbos we have? Have you had one? You're about to have
No, I'm
one.
about to have one.
I don't think I'm gonna.
Do you
I
think
don't
we
think I'll
can-
make it all week? But I'm.
No, I want to try
feels
all
good,
the things
yeah.
though. Like I want a po' boy. I want some catfish. I want some shrimp and grits. Like I'm gonna try and poke all the things,
isn't
and then
helping.
diet starts next week.
Yeah, I was gonna say this isn't helping the Diana. time
Diet starts
capsule.
next week.
This is sodium week.
You're
Aren't you going on vacation?
2 weeks.
You're gonna
and it's
so you're gonna
skiing.
start a diet a week before vacation?
Skiing is basically a fitness vacation.
That's so true.
Yeah.
You're going on a fitness vacation.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Well, we did the lottery ball back in the studio, so let's kick it to ourselves. Numbers, boys.
I'm going to go with 76.
I'm gonna go 3.
I'm gonna go 40.
11. I'm going to go 2.
2.
11.
That's one I guessed correctly for PFT.
That's what I got.
No, that's the one you got, PFT.
That's my ball.
71. That looked like 11.
Yeah.
Did someone guess 11?
Oh,
Maxi. Bing bong.
I guess 2 for Jalen Hurts.
Love you guys.